As we see, the field had just gone down pit road to check their pit road speed. They're back in behind the pace camera. And Steve, thank you for taking care of all the duties down there pre-race. Let's talk a little bit about that virtual car that you're so familiar with.
You almost didn't get me off the pit box. That view down there is amazing. But let's take a look at our Toyota virtual car. Let's talk about the wake, or the dirty air behind these cars, and what's a little bit different about the next-gen car versus cars in the past. So we'll see that stepped splitter. You see a couple little steps. That's to force the air underneath this car. They want it attached, a very smooth bottom of this car to get back to that diffuser in the back. That is to basically organize the air as it comes out from the back of the car, also speeding that air up. That creates downforce. What this also does, though, is create a nice, clean wake. So when we turn the smoke on, look right here. I'm going to rotate above and look back. So drivers, I'm going to bring you in. You guys know better than anyone how this affects it. So if we stop right here at the old car, dirty air used to kind of be way over here, like with a boat. It used to be super, super wide. Now it's very, very narrow. And Junior, I believe that gives these drivers an opportunity to be offset just a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left, find that air to their nose of their car and be able to make a pass.
Yeah, one of the best examples of that was right here earlier this year, where Kurt Busch was able to just offset a little bit to the left of Kyle Larson and make the pass for the win. You would never see a driver be able to pull that off successfully with the older style car. So really, it's narrowed up that dirty air behind the car, like you said, allowing these drivers to make moves a little bit differently and race a little closer together, especially side by side. So everybody's going to try to chase to the wall, run on the fence, run a little bit higher on this racetrack. So you've got to be able to make passes low, and Kurt did a great job of that earlier this year.
You mentioned the side-by-side battle and how that's changed it. Well, in the old car, if you were side-by-side with somebody, pulled all the air off the inside car, that car would get very loose, move up the racetrack. This car doesn't lose side force or downforce because it's being generated from underneath the car. And so it allows you to be much more aggressive if you're underneath another car.
I'll tell you one thing, drivers, the other thing reminds me when I look out here the window from the booth at this big wide Kansas Speedway is just how much work a driver has to do to make a pass. It's like an art form with a scalpel. It takes a few laps. You just don't catch them and go by them. You kind of got to set them up to allow yourself to get to that right rear quarter panel or to throw that slide job that Christopher Bell talked about in the pre-race.
Let's listen into the 22 radio, a little pep talk before the green flag.
Alrighty, boys. Had a good start last week. Scored some good points. Let's do that again this week here. Be smart. We'll stay up towards the front, score some points, set ourselves up real good for next week. Get a win if we can.
All right, Steve, between the 8 and the 22, right now the pit crew for the 22 a little bit better than the 8, but really all these playoff teams have to worry about almost a perfect day today on pit road.
You don't have to be perfect as much as you can't just make a big mistake. That would be my coaching to them is don't try to be perfect, just try to be solid. The star is the driver. Let's put it back in his hands. Let's not take it out of his hands.
Don't make any mistakes. Well, we know that Tyler Reddick has a fast race car, as well as the 22 of Joey Logano, the two making up row one. Fans on their feet here at Kansas. We're racing in the heartland. Great start to the race by Joey Logano. He surges ahead.
Tyler Reddick picked that outside. It did not work for him. Logano got a great launch on the front straightaway, beat him into turn one.
Kevin Harvick also with a great run on the restart through the middle, just off frame to the right in that 4 car. Chastain slides up the racetrack. Harvick up the racetrack as well to block.
And Bowman also was able to get in front of Tyler Reddick. So it's Logano and Bowman 1 and 2 as Bowman looks to the low side of the racetrack to maybe put a little pressure on Logano early in this race.
Yeah, we talk about restarts and how important they are every week. You can see right now on a 267 lap race how aggressive everyone already is. Bowman to the top.
And a big run by the 48, Alex Bowman. And that ally, number 48, is now he looks to the outside as they go to turn number 1. And can he make the pass here?
That's the preferred line, Rick, on that outside line. That's where the momentum's going to be off the corner. Look at the drive of that 48 car. Really fast in practice to the lead. Here comes the 8 of Reddick down the inside of the 22. Logano losing positions. Getting back in that dirty air, that's going to make things more and more difficult for this 22.
And a very unique racetrack. You saw Tyler Reddick. He didn't run to the bottom to get on the white line trying to pass Logano. He ran the middle of the racetrack. This track, you can run every single groove, and they're going to use every bit of it.
Reddick to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get to the inside of Bowman. Bowman on the top is going to be able to clear him off of turn 2. This will be a difficult pass for Reddick.
Now is it the opportunity of the guy up front to block the other driver, take his clean air?
He's going to try to run this high line and just keep the momentum up and hope that is enough speed to be able to defend any kind of pass coming on the bottom of the racetrack. You don't want to give Reddick the top of the racetrack. You don't want to give him clean air up there. So basically, look at that. You can't run that middle. You can see it. Bowman driving away on that high side. Reddick's eventually going to have to give up and just get to the top of the racetrack.
Look at Kyle Busch. He started 20th. He is back to 26th. People are flying by Kyle right now. Look right there. The 16 car, Noah Gragson, just whipped right around Kyle Busch. He is not happy with his car at the moment.
Noah Gragson won the Xfinity Series race yesterday. And as you mentioned, the 18 of Kyle Busch going the wrong direction.
It's no consolidation for the 18, but look 2 cars behind him. The 9 of Chase Elliott Jr., same situation. Didn't qualify well, has lost 8 spots since the start. Let's listen in to Chase Elliott and what he has to say about his car.
Just high, lazy. Having a hard time going the front end right now. I'm kind of flat across the back.
What I love is not just the information, but listen to the delivery. I mean, he almost could have just been sitting up here in the booth with us. So, Rick, I'm a little tight, I'm a little this. It's that calmness, that maturity. That's what gives this 9 a chance to recover. Remember, we have a competition yellow coming at lap 25, so no panic in the voice, Kim. He knows what he needs to work on.
When I talked to them this morning, both Chase and crew chief Alan Gustafson said they didn't quite have the pace to win, but they felt like they had the pace to be competitive. So right now it's just the balance that's throwing them off. Certainly looking to make some changes during that competition caution, and then we'll see if in fact they do have the speed to run down the competition.
So again, playoff driver Chase Elliott running in the 28th position. Kyle Busch was a couple spots ahead of him in 26th.
As we ride on board with the 47, the Sonny D on board with Stenhouse Jr. Going back is Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch. Going forward is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Had that contact in practice. They had to go to the back after repairing the car. He is plus 13 spots all the way just outside the top 20. Look at this, out the front window. He's looking for the top 20.
3 wide down the front straightaway, Stenhouse. Going to be able to clear both of those cars for those positions.
Young Harrison Burton in the 21.
Corey LaJoie back there having a great run around the high side. You see the 18 of Kyle Busch rebounding somewhat. He has got all the way to the top of this racetrack and making a lot of good ground on the top against the wall. Has to go to the bottom here to get around the 6 of Keselowski.
Looking to go by the 7 of LaJoie, as you mentioned, as well as Harrison Burton just in front of them.
And you see right there, Rick, as the 6 gets the run, he starts to defend the top. He does not want another car to his outside. He's going to try to jump to the outside of the 7 here. Not enough room. Good patience there.
And that checked up all the momentum that we saw that 18 have.
Try to rebuild that momentum here now in turn 3 and 4, right against the wall. Watch this run he gets off the corner on Kyle Busch, or on Keselowski. Drives right back by the 6 car.
Brad didn't go up there to block that 18 run. Parker.
Well, guys, as we watch this 18 of Kyle Busch sort of rebound here in positions on lap 11 of this run, that was one thing that Ben Bayshore's crew chief told me he was worried about, and that was their fire-off speed. They just didn't have it in practice. They were many tenths off at the start of the run, but then the speed sort of equalized and continued for 20-plus laps, so they were very confident in their long-run speeds. You see them start to make passes, but that's a big issue if you can't get restarted, Dave.
Parker, Denny Hamlin's 25th qualifying effort had us scratching our heads yesterday. I talked to Chris Gabart, his crew chief. He said, yeah, us too, because we prepared for a new tire combination here, but we did not expect to come off the truck as way loose as we were. So they've been tightening it all weekend long. Denny is up 9 positions. Unfortunately, he came on the radio really tight to start. Steve, I don't know if you've ever had a weekend where you're just chasing the car back and forth all weekend.
A weekend, I had seasons that were that way. It seems like you could just never get the balance. Some cars, Rick, just seem to have a big kind of sweet spot. every little adjustment just kind of moves around. Other cars feel like they're on a knife edge. You can jump from tight to loose with the smallest change.
Here's a great example of the challenge that these drivers are going to have all day. The 20 car of Christopher Bell is much faster than Logano. He'd rather be in that high groove. Logano's running that groove, so he's got to offset a little bit to try to get some clean air, and he still can't make the pace in that lower groove to be able to get up there to pass his 22. He's working on it. He's going to try to find a way around him. As soon as Christopher Bell can get clear of the 22 of Logano, he will drive away with a much faster race car.
We saw temperatures yesterday and Friday in the 80s, and today just 73 degrees. So even over the weekend when a cold front went through yesterday, the team has to really look at that and think, okay, well, I've got to adjust for that to a little bit colder racetrack.
Well, when I was down on the pit box for pre-race, the wind is real. The wind is whipping, and that is going to make the balance of this race car difficult to challenge or to chase.
You're watching the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs from Kansas. This telecast presented by Applebee's. Make sure to download the official app of NASCAR. You can follow the action with free live scoring. There's in-car cameras as well as radio broadcasts. Just search NASCAR in your app store. You can download and start a free trial. It's the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on USA, the Hollywood Casino 400. And we're closing in on the competition caution. Parker, things are going to be heating up down there in about 5 laps.
Oh, they definitely will be a lot of decisions for the teams here. But we watched Christopher Bell trying to make this pass on Joe Logano. We asked him about this very thing in the pre-race show. And Dale, he used a term, I think they use it in dirt racing. You've used it a couple times. What's that term where you go all the way to the bottom and try to slide up in front of the guy in front of you?
Oh, slide job.
That's it. That's what he said he was going to take the pass here. And I think that's exactly what he's been working on. He said he wanted to run that groove lower, get that little bit of run. And if you have that momentum going off, especially into turn 1, that's where you can use that slide job. Drive it to the bottom and slide up in front of the car in front of him. That's what he's trying to do here.
And Dave.
Hey guys, watching the 99 of Daniel Suarez, who, when I talked with his crew chief Travis Mack this morning, he loves a race like this because one thing Daniel's really improved on is taking whatever lane is necessary on a multi-lane racing track. That's certainly available today. The problem right now is he has radioed that his car is very, very tight. That will limit what he can do now. Hopefully he can apply all that later, Kim.
Well, Dave, speaking of multi-lanes, drivers talk about this being a multi-lane racetrack. Not the case right now for William Byron. Take a listen.
Yeah, gonna need something pretty major here. We'll get you. The wall's my only option. Working pretty decent for turn.
And that's because the condition of that car right now just plowing tight. William cannot do anything but run that high line. Currently sits in that 13th position.
Bowman's been out front for what's going to be 21 laps here in just a moment. And that's actually the most laps that Alex has led in a race this year to start this one off as we get ready for that competition caution, which will be at or around lap 25.
Yeah, they've had a strong, strong program, but struggled this year. Won some races over the last couple of years, but has found it difficult to get speed and pace. And I think we're all surprised when he showed up quick in practice, and it seems to be transitioning over to the event. Hopefully they can maintain this speed in the 48 car throughout the day.
You see a couple cars already going a lap down. BJ McLeod, JJ Yaley.
Gotta go from one way on fans to the other way on fans for opposite ends of the racetrack right now. Okay, 10-4.
There's Cody Ware going a lap down in the 51.
This morning got up to get moving, go to our production meetings, and saw this guy right here, Alex Bowman, out on a jog. I'm like, man, you're gonna work out for the workout.
Get some sleep, man.
Well, remember he's driving the 48 car. Isn't that exactly what Jimmy Johnson
That would
used to do?
absolutely be a Jimmy Johnson thing.
Yeah.
Is to go run and bike before the race.
Why not? Like 7 or 8 weeks ago, I had Jimmy Johnson in this 48 car somehow. So, you know.
And there's that competition caution that we were expecting. And so it comes out, and now it goes into the hands of the pit crew members, Steve.
Yeah, and this is the type of track that I believe it's going to be 4 tires for everyone. This will be the only required pit stop in this first stage. They can make it from here to the end of the stage on fuel. So like you were saying, you know, perfection is great, but I would just take some base hits, just some real solid stops, even if that's 90%. Even if we lost 1 spot on every pit stop today, I know while that would be frustrating, that would be acceptable in the first round of the playoffs. Remember, 16 drivers, they all can't win a race.
Yep.
You're going to have to point your way in now. As we get farther along in the playoffs, pressure moves up and the required performance will move up. But still early on, it's about consistent days.
Tyler Reddick, again, starting up front. At the caution, was running second to Alex Bowman. Joe Logano third. Christopher Bell in fourth. Bubba Wallace, the first non-playoff driver, running in the 5th spot, as well as Mark Truex Jr., also a non-playoff driver, in the 6th position. Well, on September 19th, change the past one leap at a time. Don't miss the premiere of the new series, Quantum Leap, Monday, September 19th at 10, 9 Central on NBC, and streaming next day on Peacock. See whose days change as these cars get ready to come to pit road. They'll be led by the 48, and we'll go down to Kim first.
And Bubba Wallace in that number 45 car was just saying how greasy it is out there. The front end of that race car just dancing around. Felt like he was on top of the racetrack. He's on your top left right there. The call, air pressure to give him more grip. It's going to be 4 tires and Sunoco fuel, Parker.
And Kim from Christopher Bell at the top right of your screen. He said, I felt really good in the car, and if Joe Logano just made a mistake there, I would have gotten him. It's going to be 4 tires and not waiting on fuel for Christopher Bell, Dave.
Leader Alex Bowman to the pits. His car was just a little bit free. Air pressure adjustment for that. 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel. On the lower right, that is Tyler Reddick, came in second. His car was just a little bit tight. He'll get an adjustment for that. Also, tires and fuel. Now, Rick, the race off pit road.
Yeah, it's 4 wide as they come off pit road. Reddick with that great spot gained a position. Bowman lost 1. Logano held on to his, and 2 spots gained by Mark Truex Jr. The next generation of Wi-Fi is here with supercharged speeds faster than a gig. Unbeatable internet made to do anything so you can do anything. Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR. Getting ready for the choose, and a couple guys choosing to go a little too fast on pit road, including playoff driver Chase Briscoe. The 6 and the 19 also caught for speeding on pit road. Drivers, how important is which lane you choose?
Well, you're obviously going to want to start on the high side, but a lot of guys are going to choose that line, so then that gives you the opportunity to, a lot of guys are running over.
Yeah. Several guys running over that box.
Well, they're not waiting.
Oh,
yeah, they're.
I'm like, what?
Lights are on the pace car.
They were thinking they were choosing, but no.
Yeah, a lot of guys are going to want that top groove, but typically, you know, that's going to open up some opportunities to move up in that inside lane. But the inside lane is vulnerable for the bottom. Watch this pit stop though with Reddick. That line, the red line on top, that's where it needs to be. That's where the steering wheel needs to be for the right side tires to come off cleanly. Then when they're done, he changes to the blue line to be able to get the left side tires off cleanly. Because of the geometry in the tires in the front end, they need the steering wheel at a different setting to be able to get those front tires off cleanly and not hang up in the wheel well.
Saving a little fuel here with the Northern Tool and Equipment on board here for the 8.
Every caution, you better be saving gas. Takes longer to put tire or fuel in than tires on. The 11 had a penalty as well. I think it was an equipment issue or interference with equipment.
The 16 car, he had to come back down pit road for a loose left rear. So 5 cars early in this race had issues on pit road, having to go to the back.
All kinds of excitement.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just like at Darlington, man, we thought those guys would come in and it'd be a buttoned-up race, but there were so many things going on throughout that race that changed, you know, the playoff picture. Now they're going back to the choose again. Let's see if they stick with it.
We're going to re-choose.
So far, pretty even, guys, top, bottom. There's a couple more to the top. And
The
so
choice is, do you just pick the shortest line, or do you pick the line that you think is going to be the fastest? And, you know, if you make a decision to go to the top and you give up 2 or 3 rows by doing that, how do you net out when you come off turn 2? And it's just a guess. I mean, they're doing math. The spotter's telling you, he's counting the lines for you to tell you how many are on each line, and you have to make a quick decision.
Yep. If you're in 20th place, the spotter's going to tell you how many are picking the top. And so once it gets to a certain number, you have to choose the bottom. And so you just wait for the spotter to give you that information. What you got on the 99, Dave?
Daniel Suarez is fired up.
Don't worry too much about it, Larry. You help me a little bit with the car, and I'll beat this. That's right, man. I like it.
Help me a little bit with the car, and I will, well, he'll beat them.
Thanks for cleaning that up for us too, Dave. 2x2 once again, the field working their way toward this restart. By the way, we had mentioned on pit road, Steve, the fact that you were hoping for singles. You know, and already you've got 2 playoff drivers with issues, the 14 of Chase Briscoe speeding, and this is the 34th pit road violation this year for Denny Hamlin. So those things have to get cleaned up. Field now approaching the Geico Restart zone as we get ready to get back underway here in stage 1.
Big push right there from Joey Logano. That propels Reddick into the lead.
Joey tries to go to the top just to get clean air, but also see if he can create enough momentum to pass.
Joey got really tight off turn 2. They're piled up underneath him trying to go by him.
Almost 4 wide here. 4 wide now with Chastain down in the bottom. Somebody's going to give up a little bit. It's going to be Christopher Bell.
That was 4 wide for 3rd because they're still side by side for the lead, Bowman and Reddick.
Logano's struggling on the top off the corner, and that's allowed this 3 wide to maintain. Going to finally clear Bubba Wallace in the middle. They're trying to battle back though on the inside. Now we're going to be 4 wide back there. Harvick around the very, very top. Bubba Wallace has to get late information that the Harvick is there. Battle for the lead still.
Reddick using that higher line, but not all the way up against the fence. And he has the momentum.
Oh, Harvick in the wall.
Hard into the wall for Kevin Harvick. Right side, damage to the right front. He's back up into the wall. The caution comes out again.
Hold your line, hold your line, hold your line.
Man, they were racing so aggressively.
They came up in front of me. The nose just took off.
Yeah, I didn't think that there was real contact that created that, but so Chastain drifts up off the bottom of the racetrack as him and Bubba Wallace are racing really hard on corner exit of turn 4, and as soon as they crossed in front of Harvick, Harvick's car just turned right into the wall. So watch the one car in the 45 of Bubba Wallace. Chastain's coming up the track, both of them. Maybe it may have been some contact there. Harvick gets loose. Big moment.
Well, it's definitely not straight currently.
Watch this. So as soon as they go right in front of Harvick, is there contact or not? Man, it's close. But Harvick's car turns sideways. He corrects it into the fence hard. Big damage.
Right along,
Hold
Kevin.
each other tight.
Good
Yeah,
gracious.
Just
Yeah, they can
Kevin
hold your
wasn't
line here.
complaining
Go
about
outside.
contact with Bubba. He was saying that was all air.
Yeah.
And
Well, Jeff, this is just like we talked about that black helicopter at the beginning, our NBC virtual car, right? That stream is very strong right off that diffuser, and it seems like as soon as the rear bumper of the 45 crosses the nose of the 4, all the air is gone, right? And his downforce goes right away. The speed underneath the 4's diffuser gone, Dale Jr., and then you saw that big loose correction. I mean, it's like a light switch. You go from grip to no grip, like you drove across ice. That is pointing the wrong way right there. That is gonna be bad. Kim.
And Kevin had already complained about being a little bit tight. After that incident, he did come on the radio and said, I'm not sure if the right front or the right rear is broken. Rodney Childers said, likely it's the right front. Bring it in. We're going to do work on it. And remember, they told me this morning they weren't concerned about last week, that it was going to take 2 bad weeks for them to be concerned about their playoff position. You have to admit that this is not good for where they stood coming in here, minus 13.
No, and even with the extended damaged vehicle policy from 6 minutes to 10 minutes, you can see no urgency, 10 minutes, just not enough time to fix this 4 car. It might be in a must win when we head to Bristol next week.
For the first time, NASCAR fans can view every lap of NASCAR Cup Series races from inside the cockpit of any car they choose. It's live in-car camera streams for the entire field. They're available for free as part of NASCAR Drive. Just visit NASCAR.com/drive. You can download the NASCAR mobile app as we legacy to 4, back into the garage. And what does that do to the playoff standings? He came in 16th. Now, Steve, it's almost looking like this is must-win when he goes to Bristol. Mathematically, we can't say that yet, but this is still early in this race.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 231 laps, right? We could have 10 playoff guys wreck, and that would be the best thing that ever happened to Harvick, but currently is the only playoff driver out of the race. He came in 16th. He's still going to be 16th. The question is who else is going to follow them with mistakes. The 11 of Denny Hamlin, we talked about interference on pit road. So what is interference? Basically, we used to say you could roll your tires, but they kind of had to stay in control. Now it's wherever the tires go. So as you see Suarez behind the 11, both right fronts, we pause it right there. So look at this. Interesting enough, there's the 99's tire. Not really in ain't a bad shape. Well, here's the 11's. It's almost the same location for the 99. The difference is the 11's tire interferes with the gas man and the rear of the 8 car pitted in front of him. So that's a perfect example of both pit crews operated the same way. Their tires kind of rolled in the same location, but because the 99 had space, it didn't interfere with another team, no issue. But Dave, because the 11's rolled into the 8 box and interfered with a crew member, therefore a penalty.
And not that it matters which it ran into, but it's interesting. Chris Gabehart said with our 25th qualifying spot, we didn't get a very good pick. I was surprised that was still available, but I chose to put myself between those 2 playoff cars because I figured if we were running, especially with the 8 of Reddick, who's been super quick, we're having a good day, and I will deal with the rest. As for the penalty, well, he didn't see that coming.
Yeah, no, I mean, you just never do, but to quote my old buddy Jeff Burton, the results matter, right, Jeff? Doesn't matter what your actions are, the results of your actions, one could be a penalty, one not, because of how it affects other cars. You see Kevin Harvick out of his car. Been quite a week for Kevin Harvick.
Very unfortunate. He'll have to make the trip to the infield care center anytime you're out of the car. He'll make that trip in just a moment. As we get back to racing, Tyler Reddick on the outside. Alex Bowman, who's been great on restarts and the start of this race, now has Reddick in front of him. We'll see how long. Also, Ryan Blaney up there fighting for that top spot.
What a move by Reddick to go down in front of that 48 and slow down any potential run, and that's actually put Alex in a bad position here. Now on the outside for 3rd. You can see where the concern was for Reddick. Not much about the 12 car on the outside line behind him, but the 48 car, he knows it has pace. Bowman fighting back here, trying to take second back. The 1 car of Chastain to the inside of the 22 for 4th. Gonna clear him and slide up the racetrack, try to take his line away. Makes the 22 have to lift off the gas.
It's chaos in mid-pack, isn't it, Junior? You want no part of like row 10. My goodness.
There's Christopher Bell in the 20. He was running right at the bottom of the racetrack, and now he comes up a little bit higher behind the 22. Spreading out all over this racetrack. You see the different lines. There's the move by Ryan Keselowski in the 6. He's got Denny Hamlin right behind him.
Yeah, this is the problem with the pit road penalties. Look at the mess that you're in. It's so easy to get into an accident right here. You're a playoff driver. You don't need to be putting yourself in these situations. 3 wide down the front straightaway. Here comes Truex on the outside.
He's saying, I'm not a playoff driver. I'm going to put you all in very uncomfortable situations.
Look at that, 19
Right up against the wall.
And just trying to get a little bit too much. That high side feels so good. You want to feed it throttle.
Martin Truex Jr. was right up against the wall. That was that video game move we talked about at Darlington, but he was doing it here in Kansas.
12 car Blaney's trying to keep this battle close here for the lead as he gets a run down the back straightaway. He ran the high side a little higher than Reddick. Now Reddick to the top of the racetrack. Blaney with some real pace here. Almost up the side down the front straightaway. Has to tuck back in line. So what Reddick does down here in 1 and 2. He's going to take that top line away. He is. Blaney to the bottom of the racetrack. Not going to be able to make it work down there.
There may be grip down there, but the problem is down this straightaway. Look what's going to happen. Reddick's going to drive away from him. You're able to carry so much more momentum. Blaney drives into the corner, makes some ground up running the bottom, but then on corner exit. Reddick goes to the gas and then is able to pull away down these straights.
This time he stays within about a car length and a half, and Blaney right up to the top, but that line taken away. Blaney not with enough momentum to try the slide job on Reddick yet.
Yeah, I don't know if that's in the toolbox of the 12 car. Slide jobs. Not everybody can make it happen. And you can see down here in turn 3 and 4, the 12 a little bit offset. I think this is the corner where there's multiple grooves. That 1 and 2 really has just one line, and that's right against the wall. Not a lot of pace in the middle of the racetrack or the bottom groove. Now that Reddick has found this top, starting to work on it, starting to make it faster, make it better. Steve, you know every time you go to the top, it takes you several laps really to perfect it. Once you get it right, hard to beat.
Yeah, very rhythm for sure. See some Joey Logano right here racing with the 45, trying to make a move on the 20 as well.
There's so much speed right against the wall, but it takes you a handful of corners really to understand how to perfect it. You won't really get much information from the spotters or on lap times. You got the lap time on the dash as well. You won't pay that much attention because you know that it's going to take you 3 or 4 corners to get it done.
Junior, I know we talk a lot about the drivers and using the simulator, and how do you simulate even a new tire compound when you come to Kansas? Because this is different from what they've run here.
Yeah, the teams have all that information from Goodyear and plug that right into the simulator and give the drivers an understanding of the difference, and they can A and B it so quickly. Quicker than you can actually bowl a set of tires on a race car. They can flip a switch and say, here's the old tire, here's the new tire. The driver can kind of at least know what to expect. And this is what I was worried about with Joe Logano. Qualified well last week at Darlington. Falls back a little bit, loses a little track position, whether on pit road or the racetrack, and does not have the car to recover. Each position he loses, he's back to 8th place now, battling for 7th with Buescher. Each spot he loses, it gets harder and harder for this team to recover because they don't have overall pace.
And these two continue to fight for this spot right now, 7th and 8th.
Joey's one of the drivers that's complained this year about the cars are hard to pass. It's because his car's not good enough. There's other guys out there making passes. He just hasn't had the quickness in his car all year long to make these moves. Dave, what you got on the 22?
Junior, the problem he's having right now is he said, I cannot finish the turn. I get to the 2/3 mark of the corner, and it falls on its face. So that's what he's battling right now. As you mentioned, falling back to fight with Buescher here. Kim?
Well, after Kevin Harvick's incident, other teams paying attention to what does and doesn't work. Hear what Chase Elliott's team had to tell him.
I think right there by the fence, he had a lot of wheel on it. As soon as that 45 slid up in front of him, I think jumped sideways and he tank slapped it into the fence. So just might want to be smart there off 4 in those compromised positions when people are all merging.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of my thing there. I already had so much wheel in it. I was nervous about hitting it off of 2 and 4.
And this morning when I talked to multiple teams, they all told me off turn 4 was a concern for them, Parker.
And Kim McCarty's racing there. The 18 of Kyle Busch has another issue in terms of being able to get going on the starts and restarts. He lost 6 spots on the initial start. On this restart, he restarted 12th all the way back to 16th, and now is having to work his way forward once again. Ben Bayshore told me that was their worry, to see if they have that fire-off speed, and they just have not had it. And guys, you know how tough it is. We're seeing how aggressive these restarts are because it's so hard to pass. You cannot be giving up 4 to 6 spots on every start or restart. They're going to have to find some fire-off pace in that 18. He looks good now going to the outside.
Yeah, he's really able to carry speed later in this run, but that'll work great, Parker, if you get the right kind of race. If you get a short run at the end of the race and you can't fire off, it'll bite you.
Still 29 laps to go in stage 1. Kevin Harvick, the first of the playoff drivers eliminated here from the Kansas race. We hope to talk to him next. It's NASCAR Cup Series playoffs from Kansas. This telecast presented by Applebee. I want to thank Geico for today's aerial coverage. A gorgeous day here in the heartland at Kansas Speedway, but not such a great day for racing. And Kevin Harvick, he's just come out of the infield care center. Tim Coons there.
And he's walked to the driver-owner line. Kevin, walk us through what happened out there.
Yeah, when those guys came up in front of me, the front end just took off, and I had a bunch of wheel into it. And then when I lifted to not hit the fence, it just, I wasn't expecting him to come up right here. And I was so close to him that the front took off, and I lifted and it snapped loose. So just way more push than I had anticipated.
How does this change your outlook for next week's race at Bristol?
Go win.
There you have it. Go win is the attitude headed to Bristol for Kevin Harvick and his 14.
Well, if anybody can do it, regardless of the year, Kevin Harvick has had a lot of must-wins that he ended up winning throughout his career in the playoffs. We'll just have to see what kind of speed that 4-car can find Saturday night under the lights.
Yeah, he's the driver that you back him into the corner, and he'll find a way to get it done.
Yeah, he's comfortable there. You know,
Right.
Some drivers don't like that situation, but Kevin is perfectly, he doesn't want to be there, but he's perfectly content, comfortable with his back against the wall. He is going to come out swinging.
This battle right here continues with Logano and Buescher. Buescher can close in, can't pass on the bottom. It is so tough to make that work. 2-car Cindric back there almost getting in the fence off turn 2.
When we talk about the round of 16, the reason Reddick's at the top of this list, you win, you advance, and that's where he is right now. He's up front. The possibility of a win advances you into that second round.
And right behind this 2-car, you guys were talking about it during the break, Rick Stenhouse Jr. up to 10th place. He's drove through this field. This guy hit the wall in practice, damaged his car, had a lot of problems. I didn't think they were going to have any pace this weekend.
He ran 8th here in the spring race, had good speed then, brought it back to this race. Look how far he drives into the corner trying to get alongside the 2 of Cindric. He's able to carry some great speed right here. Almost gets to his left rear quarter panel.
And he ain't, you know, it's not super smooth either. A lot of wheel movement in the corner. He's got his hands full trying to make this thing fly around this racetrack. A little slide job here up the racetrack.
Oh, Cindric cutting some slack.
Yeah.
He's going to complete that pass. And remember, we heard Brad Doherty in the Countdown to Green show talk about a driver, one of the hauler drivers for JTD Doherty, passed away earlier this morning. So they're racing for J.R. Holler here out there in the 47 team.
5 of Logano trying to make the pass as well on Cindric behind Stenhouse here. Haven't heard much of Larson throughout the day. This is his kind of racetrack, though, running right around the boards.
Larson doing the same thing to Cindric that just happened to him a while ago. At some point, Cindric will fight back. Like at some point later in the race, he's going to stay in the gas and not cut him the slack that he is right now.
Cindric, the winner of the Daytona 500 to start off the season. As we heard from him earlier today, he's hoping to get as many points as he can, collect as many points as possible, continue to move along in the playoffs. As we take a look back.
Yeah, the 2 was, I didn't know if he hit the wall or not. Looks like he definitely did. And here comes the 19 car as well. Cindric off the top of the racetrack. Now on the bottom, he's going to get ran down on this back straightaway. Big run from the 19. Truex is going to drive in, wondering where he's going to go. He's going to go to the top. So Truex is going to try to work this bottom here and get beside this 2-car down the front straightaway.
Remember, Truex had
My rear's bent.
He says the right rear's bent on that 2-car.
17 car.
No, I think that was radio from the 17.
Yeah,
I think he's made wall contact. He's
Looks
coming
like
to pit lane. You see the damage on the right rear. Concrete in the wheel. Damage to the fender well. We'll see if it's just tires, but it sounded like that radio was from the 17 talking about the right rear being bent.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. It was the 17 car. They're going to make a change on tires here.
And Steve, even though there wasn't a caution that came out, does this car go on the DVP?
So if he's made hard enough wall contact that there's damage, they'll put him on the damage vehicle policy. It takes a lap of minimum speed to reset that. We'll see if the 17 is able to do it as this 19 car continues to march through the field.
Truex with a little slide job there. I mean, that seems to be the only way to really pass if you can get a run on these guys. Look at Truex now, almost some contact. Maybe was some contact with Logano down the back straightaway. Those two got a bit of history. Truex going to clear now. Truex is going for this 47 car. He's got some great momentum off the top down the front straightaway.
Truex has a very fast car. Had a very fast car at Darlington last week. Late race problem. They could have won that race. He's brought speed to this race as well.
Oh, no! Reddick into the wall, and now he is slow. Caution has come out.
Oh,
Come on,
man.
Jared. Right rear or the right front?
Just went.
Just went.
So I don't know if went means being a
tire?
tire.
Right side.
Looking at the front of that car, he's got a right rear flat.
He does.
And we saw a right rear
Right rear
flat.
is definitely down for sure.
Saw a right rear flat with the, oh, he's going to spin out here almost.
Keep her straight. Kept it off the wall.
We saw a similar issue with the 47 car during practice, guys. We get late into these runs and these tires fail. We had a lot of issues here at the race this year earlier. Left rear tires failing. There it goes. The team's trying to get the back of the car down, and they run really low air pressure, and they push the envelope there. They get a little risky with some of that air pressure.
Let's ride along.
Ooh, that's a terrible sound.
Oh, hang on.
Talk about
We got
that,
tire
Steve.
down, guys. We're
What
hard
these
on the
guys
wall.
are doing
Hang on,
to
hold it
try
up
to
there.
maximize
Caution
aero
no, caution
on the
no.
back of this car.
Well, so the idea would be you're allowed to put camber in the rear suspension, but these sidewalls are so stiff because you're so short that if you tip the tire too
It's going
much,
to be broke in the rear. I mean, he nailed it.
you don't
Turn
actually
three.
get enough tire on the ground. So you want to get some air pressure out so you can have that camber and still have the entire tire patch on the ground.
And Steve, a change made a few weeks ago to the damaged vehicle policy where they're going to add some time. So if this team does have to make some repairs, they got a little more time than they did in the past. Dave.
He just radioed the team as he exited. It feels like the right front is broken. Now remember, a lot of development went on by Goodyear after the May race where they did have the tire failures, but the teams were also advised, watch what you do with air pressure. And we heard Stenhouse after his incident yesterday say, well, I guess we know where the limit is now. Apparently here, we don't know exactly what happened, but we can assume they were pushing as hard as they could to make this 8 car as fast as it could be.
Well, so the 47 knows what the limit is, right, Junior? But the 8 doesn't.
Can't
He's not
hear
the-
it. It's all over the place. I'm going to crash this thing if I go any faster.
All right, so Reddick obviously just said that he has something still wrong. You mentioned the longer clock, Jeff. You have 10 minutes.
From watching the way he hit it, I mean, he nailed it with the right rear. I didn't think the front hit, but it didn't hit as hard as the rear.
So we'll have to see. You know, normally when a rear toe link is bent, it's very clear that the car doesn't roll straight. Seeing how it's rolling reasonably straight, I'm thinking it's something in the right front. We're going to have to see, though. They're going to let us know here as he comes back around. You mentioned the 10-minute clock. Just a quick review. That's total time on pit road from yellow line to yellow line. This car has already pitted once, so he's 8 into those 10 minutes already.
Yep.
I'm guessing probably 40 seconds or so.
You see the note here. 9 Cup Series drivers had tire issues in May, but this is a different tire than what they had here in May.
Oh, and Junior, you and I, there was a couple races we were so worried there was going to be tire issues, and then there was none. I'll be honest, coming here, I was like, oh, Teams has that figured out. It's no problem. You know, they knew what they had going on in the spring. They made adjustments, and then here we are, a couple flat right rears already.
Yeah, I think with this racetrack, and
Wow.
there's so much corner here, so much on throttle time, that the load in the tire is a little more significant than what we see in some racetracks.
Did you see how difficult
Yeah.
it was for him just to get into pit road? That would lead me to believe we're going to find out as they pop the hood. They're like, Duck, it's too much
Yep.
damage.
So there's
They-
too much.
Yeah, they can't even get it done, Steve, in 10 minutes.
Kim.
And as cars make their stops right now, top left, Bubba Wallace, same complaint as the first run. Greasy racetrack needs more front turn, slight air pressure adjustment. He said, typical Kansas, he just loses it at the 3/4 mark, Parker.
And Kim Ryan Blaney inherited the lead there when Tyler Reddick had his issues. It's going to be 4 times for him. He said he was worried about his right rear. Oh, as he gets a little blocked in by the 10-car Eric Roll. The 20-car Christian Bell also loose. And Dave, you got an issue there for Alex.
Alex Bowman, 2 right side tires, great time to exit, except the 14 of Chase Briscoe was coming in. That strategy, great until it wasn't.
2-tire strategy for Austin Dillon. 17 spots on pit road. Tonight on NBC and Peacock, Sunday Night Football from Texas. That's Tom Brady and the Buccaneers as they visit Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Coverage beginning with Football Night in America at 7 p.m. Eastern. Steve, you mentioned it earlier. We just need base hits on pit road. Well, that's not what happened with the 48 team and Alex Bowman.
48 team makes a strategy call, 2 tires. So as they drop to Jack to leave, he's going to turn out. 14 coming in. My goodness, great heads up play to not have contact. You see the tire changer. 14 is like, go ahead, get out of here. In my opinion, that's the 48's fault. The car coming in should have the right of way. Car leaving needs to concede to the 14 coming around him. That's how I always saw it. Greg Ives obviously clears him out of the box. Now, he might have thought he could get out in front of the 14 or thought the 14 would check up. Junior Burton, my thought was always coming in, head right away. Y'all's opinion on this?
Yeah, I think you're right, but the 48's focused solely on trying to, beat the entire field off of pit road with a quick 2-tire stop. So if they have to hold themselves in the stall, then obviously they're giving up all this time that they're trying to. So I think in their mind they were stubborn. I think you're right that it's definitely they have to sit in the stall and wait for the 14 to come by, but a little stubborn on their part, trying to get 2 tires and get out of there quick.
The most dangerous thing in the world is denial. You have to recognize the situation you're in. Here you see Tyler Reddick coming out of the car, the second playoff driver. Kevin Harvick out after a wreck. Reddick out after a blown right rear tire.
And I'm sure Reddick's going to have to take a trip to the infield care center as well because of wall contact. I actually love that rule anytime. That way we can get these drivers checked out. You see Reddick continuing to drop. The disappointment will be real when he takes this helmet off.
Well, he came in 23 points above that cut line. And now as they run, the stage isn't even over and he's only +1 ahead with fuel approaching the Geico Restart zone. Now it's Austin Dillon on the outside and the 20 of Christopher Bell on the inside. That 2-tire strategy has Dillon up front here.
Racing for some stage points right here. Austin really tight off turn 2. Stack it up behind him. Just car did not turn the way he wanted it to.
Blaney taking advantage of the 3 up the racetrack.
Great restart for Stenhouse back there in the Sunny D car. Down and frustrated where you're going to see him dive here to the inside following Martin Truex Jr. Everybody lined up on the outside of the racetrack. All of them going around Austin Dillon. Got that outside line choked up a little bit down the back straightaway. Oh, the 9 car, a little contact with the back end there, the 18.
There's Logano using that momentum on the high side. He'll come right up to the back bumper of the 48 of Bowman. Bowman goes down, and they're 3 wide for position behind him.
Yeah, Bowman tracked across the entire racetrack, taking air away from all of those cars. Now they're stuck 3 wide down into turn 1. Logano continuing to lose spots. It's the start of the race.
The 3 car, I'm sorry, Jude. I was going to say the 3 of Austin Dillon was 19th, so we'll see if this gamble pays off.
He reached in the 47 car. Good battle right here. Blaney almost underneath Bell. Bell didn't give him much choice but to lift right there. He came down across his nose.
Great battle behind these guys, still going on for 3rd. Stenhouse to the bottom of the racetrack. It's going to clear the 19. Bubba Wallace trying to move in on this battle.
Good rebound for the 19. Martin Truex Jr. after we saw him running up against the wall. He's up here in the 4th spot. Again, Stenhouse Jr., Truex Jr., and Bubba Wallace, all not playoff contention drivers, but running up into the top 5.
At the start of this race, did you think the 9 of Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch would be working for some stage points in stage 1? I sure didn't. They've rebounded really well.
How about Denny Hamlin? Talk about rebounding. He was way back there after that 1 penalty.
Yeah, pit road penalty, and now he's running in the 11th penalty, or 11th spot.
And Austin Dillon still back there in 8th, trying to claw away some stage points, trying to hang on for 5 more laps. Good battle for the lead here.
I'm surprised by the speed of this 12 car, Ryan Blaney. I didn't think Penske was really quick in practice. Thought the Toyotas of the Gibbs boys would be quick, hard to beat. Blaney, though, showing a little bit more pace in this 20 right here. Just can't really find a way to get around him, working his lower groove. Back of the car moving around a little bit right there.
Tucks in behind him down the back stretch. It's Bell and Blaney, 1 and 2. And now the move to the bottom of the racetrack for Blaney, but not enough momentum. Parker.
I don't think this 12th team is surprised to see the speed out of this 12th car for Ryan Blaney, because they told me in practice, yeah, they didn't light up the timing sheets, but they were working on different things that you're seeing right here, running the middle of the racetrack, trying to utilize the bottom, doing everything off the wall to make that car work there so that they could pass cars and find a way to run an alternate line like you're seeing Ryan able to do now. And they felt like with the lap times they were running doing that, they felt like there was a lot of speed in that 12th car, so they're not surprised to see it up here battling for the lead.
Back in third, Truex is clear of Stenhouse, see if he can run down this front two.
The other thing that's happened is the two guys that took on 2 tires, Austin Dillon, he just fell to 10th, and Bowman all the way back to 14th. So the entire field is watching that right now, learning that 2 tires may not be the way to go.
Well, with the 9 car, great recovery. We had that radio earlier, very calm in the radio, but didn't like his car, how it was driving. He was outside the top 30. Jeff, to talk about that 2-tire strategy, I just want to add, with this single lug, the advantage of 2 tires are less. On the old system, it was about 6 seconds less to change only 2 tires. On this pit stop, 2.5 seconds less. So the advantage of changing 2 tires is not as prominent as it once was. I think that was a little surprising to me. We saw 2 teams try.
Hey, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Steve, what if you win the race off pit road and you're leading?
Well, that helps, but it's proven with the 3 of Austin Dillon that tires are still too valuable. And I understand what they were thinking, Dave, and you bring up a great point, but early in the race, I think the scary part for Bowman was what just happened, getting blocked in and losing that track position.
Points for Christopher Bell is what he was looking for. He's going to gain them here. Bell will win stage 1 at Kansas. Blaney finishing second. Martin Truex Jr., Stenhouse Jr., and Wallace in the top 5. Then Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, and Austin Dillon hanging on to a top 10 spot. Stage 1 is complete, but it was eventful to say the least. Kevin Harvick, the first of the playoff drivers to be eliminated from the race, and then the 8 of Tyler Reddick. Stage 1 complete of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs from Kansas. This telecast presented by Applebee's. And as we mentioned, going to break. 2 drivers in the playoffs already out of this race, one of those being Tyler Reddick, and Kim's with her.
Pole sitter Tyler Reddick out early. What happened?
I had a flat tire. It's an unfortunate issue that's plagued us. It seems like we've had fast cars. We blow tires and crash them. So I don't know if I want fast cars right now.
Tyler Reddick there. You have the replay you can watch and get a look at what happened right there.
Oh, I thought we were done. My bad. Yeah, the left rear tire just blew. Like we've had a few times. So there's not really. Well, I guess if Fontana's able to save it, we got ran over, but there it snapped at the worst possible point. We just killed the wall, broke the upper control arm on the right front. So yeah, our day was over. We leave here with not a lot of points, so we're gonna have to fight hard at Bristol.
Did you hit the wall before it happened or after?
Come on. No, I blew the tire and then I hit the wall. Yeah, that's what happened.
All right, there's Tyler's story.
And pit stops taking place now. As
and you see
everyone on pit road.
Bubba Wallace top left, still tight on that race car as they take 4 tires to Sunoco Fuel. Chase Elliott saying it's building free, but better that run. Could run the bottom with Will in it, Parker.
And you see Ryan Blaney pitted there. He was feeling like the car was just getting a little loose. Christopher Bell in the 20, who was leader there, was very happy with that race car. Continued to be happy with it and felt like all they need was a track position, and they got it there.
And the race off pit road, we have Michael McDowell doing a little pit strategy here to get up front, but it's Bell, Blaney, Truex Jr., and Wallace also finishing up in the top 5. NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Toyota. Let's go places. Northern Tool and Equipment. Start solving your projects today at northerntool.com. We're made for this. And by Applebee's. Help us crush childhood cancer. Let's go back down to the Peacock pit box and we'll join Brad and DJ. And I tell you what, Brad, sorry to say this, but your guy is out of this race early.
Look, man, you jinxed me. You jinxed me. Man, I thought Reddick was going to win this thing, but after watching this round of pit stops, DJ, I mean, all of these mistakes, I mean, what's the excuse at this point in the season?
I think, Brad, the biggest thing is we talk about this every year. The pressure's not just on the drivers in the playoffs, it's the teams. It's those pit crew members trying to do their job as quickly as possible, and sometimes you try to go faster, you make more mistakes, and we're seeing a lot of that. We see 2 playoff drivers already out of here, others having to go to the back and make passes. A lot happening. But I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
Did you have a talk with Ricky Stenhouse today?
Ooh, yeah, man. Ricky's got them belts pulled tight, brother. He's looking good. My man's still in the race, by the way, Rick.
That's true. I think it was Bubba Wallace, right?
Ricky Stenhouse.
Oh, your man as far as driver. Okay, I was going to say, you chose somebody else to win this one, but that's okay.
How about the tape on the steering wheel right there? The old athletic tape, trying to give it a little more grip. Ryan Blaney in the 12 car, though, had to come back down to pit road and tighten the wheel. But this is what happened after the stage end drivers. What do y'all think here?
I feel like Blaney was upset about something. I know he may have been upset at Bell, but I know he's upset about having to come down pit road. He came in, he was running second, had to come back. Bubba Wallace was running 5th. He's in the back now. The 48, the 1, the 11, all had bad pit stops.
There was a great shot from the Coca-Cola pace car cam as we get ready to start stage 2. Michael McDowell and Eric Almirola making up that front row, and then 3 wide. Here comes Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
They're all on the mat, full throttle, accelerating through turns 1 and 2.
Oh, contact!
Lot of checkup right there. The 9 car almost wrecks it. Chase Elliott.
How about Martin Truex Jr. right in the middle now of 3 wide for second.
And McDowell and that 34 and the 10 of Almirola, they stayed out. They did not pit.
You're instantly going to see what new tires look like as the 19 is going to turn to the bottom, and with those fresh Goodyear tires, drive right by McDowell on those 2 tires.
Martin Truex Jr. now to the point after a belt came off late in the race where Martin Truex Jr. was dominant at Darlington a week ago. He's back up front here at Kansas.
They had really fast car in practice. No surprise. And these guys, if they bring this kind of speed to all the races throughout the playoffs, it's going to be a lot of what-ifs for that group. I think you've got a chip on their shoulder too, man, to show that they belong in the playoffs. And they're still one of the best teams in the league.
Kyle Busch running right up against the wall, and now we see Logano moving up in that direction. And as he does that, the 3 of Austin Dillon ducks to the bottom of the racetrack.
Austin just had it down in the corner, wasn't able to stay on the white line.
Michael McDowell now falling back to the 4th position after a little strategy play there.
Yeah, they're hanging on pretty good there with Michael's car.
Yeah, Junior, you called it, this save for the 9. Look at this. It starts up front. They stack up the 20, but look at the 9 right there. I mean, that car's wrecked. He is out of the gas and sideways, but yet somehow doesn't wreck it.
Caution has come out now. As we see the 23. That's Ty Gibbs.
You can ease it down here. Ease it down.
Was that a wheel tire or just a tire I saw pop off? Okay,
like
just a tire.
Ty got in the wall. Ty got in the wall coming off of turn 2. The lap before, I happened to look up and he was really slow off turn 2. And that turned that lap as well.
Hit the right front. When the 7 got him, it clipped him right front, hardest into the wall.
Both right side tires down, the right front completely gone. They don't run interliners with these new low profile tires. And again, Ty Gibbs subbing for Kurt Busch, who is out since Pocono, but not the way Ty Gibbs wanted his afternoon to end.
You see right here, yeah, a little bit of contact right there. The 7 car into the back of the 23. I believe that if we have it earlier, I believe the 23 is a little bit slow and the 7 does not anticipate it very well. LaJoie gets in the back of him.
I was watching a lap before and saw LaJoie get squeezed into the wall off of 2. I wonder if that had the frustration a little bit up.
The old hockey fight that slashed at one end of the ice. You came down and dropped the gloves at the other end.
Yeah, they both, that off, you're right, the lap before that,
yeah,
I saw
going
Ty
on.
Gibbs really slow off the corner. Just looked up and I saw everybody stacked up behind him.
A lot of attention.
This is got some replay from the lap before, so let's take a look. Oh, that was the actual wreck that we just watched.
That's pretty big contact right there.
Yeah, going to work on the right front now. Again, this is Ty Gibbs' 23. the driver swap with the 45 going for a championship from the owner's side.
Exactly sure what they're working on here. I mean, I see someone underneath the fender. Can't tell if that's a flashlight or...
Not a lot of intensity on this work right here. It makes you wonder if they think they can't repair it or not.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering, Jeff.
Yeah.
Is it seems, I don't know, kind of lackadaisical if they think they're going to get back out there.
Looking at Corey LaJoie in the 7, involved in this.
And we continue to talk about how much pit road matters in trying to keep your track position, yet this field is being jumbled up every time the yellow comes out. Not just a few two-tire calls, but also just some issues getting on and off pit road.
Saw Kurt Busch's name on the windshield of that car. Can't help but think of him today. Won this race in the spring, not able to be here because he's injured. Really miss having him at the racetrack.
Pit road open. Yeah, we only saw the one of Eric Almirola make his way onto pit road. Maybe a couple more there at the tail end of the field. The 17, Chris Buescher gets the free pass. NASCAR fans, don't let anything pass you by. The official app of NASCAR Tracks lets you stay up to date on the latest race and event information from all your favorite tracks like Kansas Speedway. Search NASCAR Tracks in the App Store to download for free. And make sure to elevate your performance in the totally reimagined 2023 Toyota Sequoia. It's ready to take on any adventure from the campground to the racetrack. Visit NASCAR.com/Toyota Playoffs to enter for your chance to win one. Getting ready for the choose. As they'll come back, you'll see the lights go off the pace car. They'll be given one to go.
They did push Ty Gibbs' car back behind pit wall. He is done for the day.
Got about 2 seconds to make the decision once you cross sort of finish line until you have to go on either the high side or the low side of that arrow. Cannot cross over the box.
The first 3 rows, it seems pretty even, 50-50 left to right. But as you go further back than that, it's like 2-to-1 to the outside. It gets more and more difficult to restart on the inside line in the rows further back. Easier to get bottled up off of 2 and lose multiple positions.
If you're a Kevin Harvick fan, this is not the view you want. You don't want to see your hauler pulling out while the cars are rolling down the backstretch, only 94 laps into the race.
Yeah.
Just
170
kind of surreal
laps
to
go.
see that. I mean, and I know last week and a lot of conversations all week long, and I never dreamt that Kevin Harvick would be the first car out of this race, and then Tyler Reddick would follow him.
Yeah.
2 playoff cars.
So now Martin Truex Jr. and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and they are 2 non-playoff drivers right now, fighting to get a win here in 2022.
I'll be honest. So much has happened on and off pit road. I'm having a hard time trying to figure out who is good, who's not good. Who, you know, so many cars keep getting cycled to the back. I think Truex, we've seen him drive through the field, the 47 the same. But no one seems to want to keep their track position.
McDowell holding his position. He's up there in 4th. Also a non-playoff driver, Eric Jones, the 3rd in the top 10 as they go up through the gears back to racing here at Kansas.
Good momentum in that high side for multiple rows back. Going down the back straightaway. Good push from the 20 car into the back of this 19 of Truex. They still can't clear Stenhouse, though. Stenhouse fighting hard on the inside. Stenhouse, a little side draft's going to draw him even with Truex down the front straightaway. Almost nosing him out front, down into turn 1. About a half a car length lead for Stenhouse. Here comes that 19 car off the top, down the back straightaway.
Joe Gibbs Racing freight train up top as Martin Truex Jr. has the 20 of Christopher Bell behind him.
Stenhouse buries it down in the corner. He's going to push up. Have to lift off the gas a little bit. That's going to clear Truex here off of 4. Tried to take that lead on entry. Could not clear him and drive up the racetrack. Now he fends off the battle from Christopher Bell.
Look at how fast Christopher Bell drove that thing into 1, tried to whip it on the top. Now the 47 of Stenhouse drove in front of him, took the air off. Bell had to lift. Now a run coming from behind from the 24 car. All that started with Stenhouse just getting in front of Christopher Bell. Pulled that air off the car. Bell had to lift, lost his momentum, but the 24 Williams not able to take advantage of it.
And here comes the 18, Kyle Busch. We ride along with the Toyota on board, and Kyle Busch goes to the bottom of the racetrack to try to pass William Byron.
Williams going to fight back on the outside again. Tough pass to make down in 1 and 2, but it is impressive what this 18 car's done today. Methodically, patiently working his way into the top 10, now to the top 5. Really, really fast, right up against the wall here. Parker, what you got on this 18?
Well, Dale, you pointed it out, right? At the start of the race, he dropped about 6 positions. The next restart, he lost about 4 or 5 positions, just could not get going. He told Ben Bayshore, I just can't go. Ben stayed calm and said, we're going to work on it. We've got a plan. A lot of it meant air pressure plans. And since then, in the last couple restarts, he's been able to gain positions. And we know he has a long run pace, but this is a good sign for the 18 car to be able to find that fire off speed. And Steve, you know how tough it is. You want to find that balance, but when you're giving up 5, 6 positions on a restart, you've got to do something. They found it on the 18.
Yeah, you just can't, you know, we talk a lot about pit crews because it's obvious, it's easy to measure, but restarts, while they're a little bit harder to measure with the choose and everything, you can't leave pit road in 8th or 9th or 10th and then after a couple laps after a restart have given up 4 or 5 spots. Just too hard to make those back up. Another guy having a quietly solid day, William Byron, currently running in the 5th count.
And that's not how it started. That Chevrolet so plowing tight at the beginning. William could do nothing but run the top line. They've made incremental changes, including both chassis and air pressure adjustments. The last update William gave, pretty good on balance, says he can move the car all over the racetrack now. Byron currently in the 5th position.
This is a car I was very concerned about at the start of the playoffs. Only 1 top 10 in 18 races leading into the playoffs, but then had a really nice car at Darlington. And then once again today having a good car. We'll see a battle between the 1 of Chastain and the 45 of Bubba Wallace.
Chastain's been duking it out with these guys back here. Me and Jeff Burton been pointing and carrying on. Watching this one car try to work through traffic. Been running guys really, really hard and tight off of turn 4. Lap before had Cindric all used up on the corner exit.
I've been nervous about Chastain. I feel like he's been second guessing himself a little bit in these playoffs because of all the crashes he's been in. He has to just trust himself. He's got to send that thing in there like he's been doing all year long. That's what's got him to this point. He might make some people mad. That's okay. It's playoff time. Just got to go do what he's got to do.
Yeah, Chastain that I see today is the one we saw most of the year that was winning races and running up front, trying to fight back from some issues early on pit road.
And Jeff Burton just gave him justification. So the next time he does something to a driver, he's going to say, well, Jeff Burton said it's okay.
I like the pep talk. That was a good pep talk.
You know, listen, you got to be who you are, right? And I haven't liked everything he's done, but it's been working for him. And it seems like when he started second guessing himself, he didn't make those moves as confidently as he had in the past.
And now running in the 13th position, trying to take 12th away from Haley in the 31.
48 car Alex Bowman trying to work his way back toward the front after some issues on pit road. Kind of stuck behind this 22. He's a lot faster than Joey. Been run up on him a few times with some opportunities to pass and can't make it happen. Dave, what you got on that 48 now?
Well, you'll remember that part of their issue falling back from a pit road incident was the choice on tires and then the release of the car. Listen to Greg Ives as he describes what happened.
That was pathetic on my part. Sorry about that. Stay focused in there. We got a fast car. We'll be okay. 10-4. Can't have that. Yep, 10-4.
Now, that was a pretty mild response from Alex Bowman. I asked Greg Ives about their communication and their laid-back manner this morning. Greg told me, even when we have mistakes, there's not a lot of finger pointing. That's what I love about this team. That's what I will miss about that team. Remember, Greg Ives has said this will be his last year on top of the pit box, and he'll miss things like today when Bowman didn't blow up, kept his head in the game, and they hope this year ends with a championship.
Right behind these guys is the 9 of Chase Elliott trying to get around McDowell, who's done a great job, Steve, with this strategy to stay out on older tires. The 5 of Larson as well, trying to get around this 34 car.
Yeah, he does. He's just kind of resided to the fact that he might have a little less tires, so he runs around the top, keeps that momentum up. Even when cars pass him, he forces them to do it in the non-preferred lane on the bottom, and I think that's kind of saved him you know, from losing multiple spots each time somebody goes by. You see right here, he's like, Kyle, if you're going to pass me, you're going to have to go to the bottom to do it. I'm going to run right here around the top. Parker, how about the run for this 34 car?
Oh, it's great to see that, you know, they got that track position, taking the 2 tires, and the team has been doing exactly what you just mentioned, pumping him up, telling him he's doing a great job with this strategy to hang inside the top 10, and that's the key, right? You're just trying to maximize your track position through this, and the team told me earlier today, they said, we've had a lot of speed, a lot of weeks, but sometimes we just lack the track position. If there's an opportunity to steal some, we're going to take it because we think we have the car speed to stay up there. If we can get that track position, Michael McDowell doing a great job right now. And the team pumping him up, right? As a crew chief, you got to do that sometimes as he knows he's going to lose positions here on a tire deficit. You just got to keep pumped up and tell him the bigger picture. It's going well.
Larson able to get by Michael McDowell. And McDowell fighting back on the inside, trying not to give up that spot. Truex Jr. and Stenhouse Jr. running 1 and 2 still. Those are 2 drivers that haven't won yet.
Trouble in the back straightaway. Stenhouse in the wall.
And just as we were talking about it, the caution comes out for the 47 of Stenhouse Jr. So again, tire issues for the 47.
Looks like another right rear tire.
Right rear coming to just the right side if it can stay on the lead lap.
Very similar issue that they had in practice. Same issue that we saw with Reddick. Parker.
Guys, he had been talking about all throughout this day how he's really hurting the right rear over the runs. He said the car was loose. He obviously had a ton of speed, but he was hurting that right rear. He blew that right rear in practice, and he just was on his mind throughout the last couple of runs about how they were treating that right rear, and obviously you see the failure there.
You know, I don't know about the damage to the suspension, but this doesn't look too significant to the body. The tire does appear to be going in the right direction. Just have to see whether they need to replace any toe link or anything like that to be able to get him back on the racetrack and competitive again. They had a very similar accident in practice. They were able to repair this car, get him back on the racetrack, and now we'll take a look, see if this contact was real heavy or not. No, not really. So that's kind of like old Rich Petty used to say, I run on the fence because if anything happens, I don't have far to go to hit it.
and he was close enough to the wall to where it was really an insignificant hit. So it might have saved this team a lot of damage. They'll be able to continue.
The one thing I didn't like is you're right. He's up here by the wall, blows the tire, gets in the wall, but it stays in the wall. See how long it stays in the wall? He couldn't pull it off of it. That's the only thing that concerns me.
And pit road is going to be a busy place with 55 laps to go in this stage. This is now inside the fuel window. Every car on the lead lap should be coming into pit for a set of tires and full of fuel. Kim.
And William Byron on your top left told the team he's fighting grip on the front end of the car during the short run, grip on the rear end during the long run, just a slight air pressure adjustment. As you see Sunoco fuel going in, that chassis adjustment for tires, Parker for the 24.
Christopher at the top right here, screams there in second. Very happy the race car just can't seem to find a way to pass. They have speed, they continually have some of the fastest lap times. He just can't find that pass. And for Martin Truex Jr., very happy that race car and that team is out for vengeance right now, Dave.
Joey Logano saying much better there. I can compete now. They will reduce the air pressure in the right side tires yet again because it seems to be making a positive effect.
You know, when the cars come down pit road, there's a lot of scuffed right rear quarter panels. I know they don't damage quite like the old car, but a lot of contact with the wall running the top.
Still working the 47 for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. The free pass going to the 17 of Christopher Buescher. You see the issue with Martin Truex Jr. Introducing the all-new 2 for $5 menu at Sonic. Choose 2 classics, the Fritos Chili Cheese Wrap, small jumbo popcorn chicken, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. Just $5. The 2 for $5 menu only at Sonic or in the app. Welcome back to Kansas Speedway, the Hollywood Casino 400 underway. Still 52 laps to go in stage 2. And issues for the 18 and the 3 on pit road.
And the 99. Daniel Suarez as well. 3, 99, and 18 all have equipment interference, so they had some issues. The 19, you see Truex right there. He had to come in a second time to tighten a left rear lug nut. So the pit road woes are continuing for all of these playoff drivers. This is crazy.
Yeah, second race of the playoffs, and already so many teams have been involved in issues on pit road. And of course, the 4 of Kevin Harvick and the 8 of Tyler Reddick out of the race already because of wrecks. They go 2 by 2 once again as we get ready for the restart. There'll be 51 laps to go in stage 2. Listen into the radio on the 18.
They call this for equipment interference. We're going to go tail. What? I mean, I get what it means, but what exact?
So let's take a look. 18 car comes down. He's already on his pit stall. They're running around the left side. Watch this area right here. I want you to watch when this tire comes off. It needs to go to the wall, flops. Oh, man, goes back to the pit stall behind him, interferes with the car behind him, the 38 car. That is the penalty on the 18.
A lot of contact. Cars crashing into turn 1, into the outside wall.
And right away the caution comes out. Harrison Burton involved in the 21. You see Corey LaJoie in the 7. There was a car also up in front of these two.
Yeah, it's killed the right rear.
I'm not sure what started it. I'm not sure the 7 was involved. I think he got collected with the 21. Looked like there was contact before that, best I could tell.
Looked like a lot of cars getting 3, 4 wide. Back in the second half of the field, there was multiple contact.
Oh, the 7, the right side of the 7 is junked.
Yeah, they all went up into the outside wall really hard. This 10 car of Eric Almirola as well was collected. Minimal damage there to this car.
Right front tire looks to be down on Almirola.
In front of these guys, there was contact. Just a lot of people. Watch up here in front. These 2 cars right here. It's like Brad Keselowski and someone getting together right there. And then behind them, as the 43 sort of the meat in the sandwich. Clips the 10 goes spinning. So a little contact on both front corners of the 43 of Eric Jones as well. They'll need to take a look at hard contact with outside wall with the 21 of Harrison Burton and the 7 of LaJoie. So the 43 is kind of the meat in the sandwich here. And just, they come together, and it's a lot of cars. I mean, we see it time and time again on the restarts here. So wide getting in turn 1. Everybody really just goes where everybody isn't. You end up going into the corner 3 and 4 wide.
You see Eric Jones, he's looking ahead, seeing that happen, and he turns left, just trying to, I'm not sure what he was looking for. He turned left, got into the 21, and then it all got going. But, you know, when everybody starts checking up and, checking up in front of you, you're trying to avoid a wreck. It's not always complete, everybody's completely under control.
So Denny Hamlin and the 6 of Brad Keselowski. Brad's trying to stay under the 12, but Denny doesn't know that. That's how that contact begins. A couple of cars checking up and whatnot, and then you have this.
I see wrecks like this. I'm so thankful I'm not a spotter, because I don't know how you make any sense of what just happened. Right? I mean, right, Junior? Like, yeah, I mean, they're checking up. Everyone's kind of looking for a spot, and here's the problem. You can say, oh, we just need a lift. Well, that's what most every restart looks like. Just somehow it works 80% of the time.
Yeah.
You know, every time they go to turn 1, I think they're going to wreck. If you lifted every time you thought they were going to wreck, you'd run last.
So if we see that accident again, Keselowski believes that he is in position to be on the inside of Blaney. He's not really on the inside of Blaney, but he's going into turn 1 with the intention of not following Blaney, but be offset to the left. Denny, looking at his peripheral vision, sees Brad on his right and Blaney out ahead of him, believes that Brad is clear enough to go up behind the 12. Starts moving up the racetrack. Brad does not move up behind the 12. So right there, Brad does not go up behind the 12, and Denny thinks that's where Brad's going to go naturally. They make a little contact, kind of gets everybody kind of checking up, doing different things behind them and creating a crash.
But you saw that replay right there, and I kind of had forgot about it. The 18 kind of scooted through the 99. You know, these playoff guys, they're going to keep cycling to the back with these mistakes. One of these times, they're going to be the car here with the side torn off it. You got to try to stay out of the mess the best you can. You see huge damage to the 7, broken right front, left front. This car is retired for the day. Too bad. I thought he qualified decent, was running okay, having an okay day. The same thing for the 21. You just can't seem to get anything going for poor Harrison. Every racetrack he's trying to get some more experience at. Shortening the day for Harrison doesn't help in his rookie year. He needs to try to run all these laps. And then Eric Jones, last week's winner, how quickly it can turn.
And Eric is going to stay on the racetrack. A couple more cars behind him, the 18 of Kyle Busch and the 3 of Dillon coming down pit road. Interesting the 43 doesn't come to pit road to work on that damage, Parker.
Yeah, the 18, though, does come down pit road after being at the back for that penalty they received for the interference. And Kyle came on the radio and said, hey, if we're at the back, do you want to work on it? And Ben Bayshore said, sure. So they're going to do some front-end adjustments on this 18 to try and get it better. He's just been complaining that the front end is numb on this car, so they're trying to get it into the racetrack a little bit with some front-end adjustments already at the back.
4-tire stop for the 18, and they'll get back out on the track. We will recycle, and we'll try another restart when we return. NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on USA. This telecast presented by Applebee's. We've heard the 18 of Kyle Busch with another penalty on pit road. Here was his response on the radio to this.
Because it was a foot or two into his box, and that's interference. Like, you have to give. I also had to go out and around a guy's leg from the box in front of me. I mean, like, I had to take it easy to not run over somebody. Yeah, similar. I'll fight it after the race here. You'd have more luck shooting your foot and enjoying that.
So a conversation between crew chief and Kyle. So let's talk about exactly what Kyle was penalized for. Look at this left rear. We're going to see it, and we're going to freeze it right here. There's two tires right there. Well, this tire I'm going to put X on. This is the 38s. That's totally fine. This tire completely in the way on the nose of the 38. That's the 18s. That's as much interfering with a pit stop as I know how. I know he doesn't like it from behind the wheel, and I hear what he's saying about missing other crew members, but in my mind, that is clearly interference. And I'm seeing some consistency here with the calling. Here's the 99. We look at that right there. Rolls it forward into the pit stall, hits the gas man in the leg, boom, penalty. No one liked uncontrolled tires, including me. Was the guy touching it? Was he not touching it? All of this foolish black, gray area. Now it's real simple. Control your tires. If you don't control them, no big deal until they start interfering with other people or go out into one of the speeding lanes on pit road. I like the adjustment to the rule. I like how it's being enforced.
A lot of issues already early with just 45 to go in stage 2 of this, the second race of the playoffs. And again, they fan out. 3 and 4 wide as they go into turn 1.
Restarts are insane today, almost 3 wide every time. back out of the field. And it ain't even the last stage yet.
Teammates Bowman and Byron running 1 and 2. And back here, 3 wide, 4 position. Chase Briscoe mixing it up there in the 14.
Yeah, the hood, the front of the hood on that 14 car every now and then comes up. See it right there?
Yep.
It's up a little bit.
Fighting 3 wide down the back straightaway. Logano's going to clear just barely now.
Is he missing a hood pin? Is that what we were seeing?
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Best I could tell, that third hood pin over. It looks like it's bouncing around. I think NASCAR, normally in this situation, just let the crew know. They'll like to see it fixed on the next pit stop. Yeah, I mean, it's barely moving. I don't, nowhere near enough reason to have a black flag, but definitely inform the crew. Hey, guys, we're going to give you a chance. Next pit stop, let's go ahead and put that pin in.
And
there's another issue.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Hendrick Motorsports first, second, and third.
Chase Elliott right now fighting for position with Logano. So Logano has taken that 3rd spot away from Chase. Briscoe running back in the 5th position. Bowman and Byron 1 and 2. Want to take a look at the Xfinity fastest lap. It's for William Byron in the 24. .30.48. Again, the Xfinity fastest lap.
Look at Logano. I mean, I talked about in the first stage how he dropped him back a little bit, but now found some speed in this car, made some adjustments. Kind of impressed because usually hard to make these cars better from the start of the race.
Matt Penske going forward, and also teammate Austin Cindric back in 7th. He's battling Christopher Bell, so both these guys at the same time find a little bit of speed. Look at Larson sail that thing down in there.
And Bell staying right on his door.
They're going to be 3 wide right here. Spotter's got to be working hard.
Well, contact there between Bell and Cindric. 3 wide for position. More contact made.
You wonder if Larson knew they were 3 wide that entire time.
That was insane.
Oh, here we go. Cindric's tired of getting slid. He did not let that happen that time. Saw it early in the race a couple times. That time he said, it's not going to happen. I'm staying right here holding my spot.
And this is deja vu all over again. Larson on the bottom. Bell stayed a little bit higher that time. Those two still fighting it out for real estate. Bell with the advantage. Larson trying that low line, and here comes Ryan Blaney in the 12 into the picture.
Bell's car just not quite as strong as it was earlier in the race. He does make the pass. Try not to give up the position here to the 12 car now. Going to focus forward, try to run down this 2.
Let's go back and look at that action off turn 4. 3 wide, Larson on the bottom. Look at Bell and Cindric. And right here, see Larson coming back up the racetrack. Just hard racing, but look at Cindric. Battles on, stays in the gas. Look at this right here, guys.
Boom. It looked harder from behind there.
Playoffs. Home.
Don't give up any positions as Ross Chastain now working on Bubba Wallace. Chastain in the 1, Bubba Wallace in the 45. Bubba running in the 11th position now.
Chastain running the bottom that corner allowed that 34 to pull up right behind him of McDowell. That's the danger. You try to run that white line, it doesn't work. You lose so much momentum. He's able to keep him behind him though.
Right in front of Chastain and McDowell is Justin Haley and Bubba Wallace. And I think a shout out goes to Justin Haley in the 31. He has put together a pretty good race up to this point.
Nice job all year.
Running right there in the 10th position. Bowman still out front, 9/10 of a second in front of Logano. Let's go through the field. Brought to you by Applebee's. We'll start with Dave.
Rick, a lot of folks who are familiar with this weekend knew that this 48 was going to be good after seeing the data in practice and qualifying. And he's proven that he is. Just a small hiccup on pit lane, but a lot of positivity around, including from the driver and crew chief, who had a good back and forth, ending with, "We got this. We are back in it," and they lead. Joey Logano, on the other hand, an interesting day for him. Paul Wolfe didn't know if they'd have the pace if they ever lost the track position. They have found more pace, and they've kept their track position. A double win so far for the 22, Kim.
And for William Byron, this race car has been a project all weekend long. That's because they didn't feel like they had a good notebook from the spring. So they went off the number 5 car's notes. Rudy Fugel told me that the practice was not great. They were just okay. They made some adjustments. Those adjustments weren't good, so they went back. So they came into this race kind of with a question mark on what they would have to do to get the race car right. Well, it didn't fire off great, way too tight. They've incrementally made adjustments, found something good, and now he's settled in, currently running in the 3rd position. His teammate, Chase Elliott, running in the 4th position. For them, they were really about refocusing themselves after what happened last week. Putting that behind them. Chase told us in Countdown to Green, they've had 7 days to regroup and felt like they've done it. They're just battling just slightly tight all race long in that 4th position, Dave.
And Kim, Chase Elliott's woes last week collected Chase Briscoe, and he ended up with a 27th place finish, his 15th place in the playoffs coming into today. A bad sign. And then speeding penalty, and then a car that wasn't handling right. And what's this? He's running 5th now. Great recovery so far for Chase Briscoe. Kim?
And Austin Cindric has quietly had a great day. The goal for them was to get stage points. They weren't able to do it in stage 1, but now setting themselves up to get those possibly in stage 2, currently running in the 6th position. The main complaint Austin has had all day long, Parker, just way too tight. In fact, stupid tight, Austin told his team.
And Kimmy's trying to hold off Christopher Bell, and we saw how tight that got. But for last week at Darlington, Christopher Bell's team had a very solid day, but they lacked on the restarts. Today, they've won a stage. They've been good on the restarts, but now they've just been struggling to pass. That has been a constant throughout this race. As you see him trying to work a pass there at Austin Cindric, it just has not been able to find the line and the groove that allows him to get by the cars in front. He's making speed up top. Behind him, Ryan Blaney. Last week on the final stop, he came down in the top 10 position, but they had to come back down pit road because Jonathan Hassler thought they had a loose wheel. It wasn't loose. Today they had to stop once again up in the top 3 where they had to come down a second time. Guess what? The wheel was loose. They got that tightened up. That's some of the calls these crew chiefs have to make in the playoffs with these loose wheels. And behind him, Kyle Larson in the 5 car said the team told him they need to get better restarts. They also had this to say on the radio. Take a listen.
When you get inside of these guys, you've got to be more aggressive side drafting. I know you want them to come back to your rear quarter panel, but when they go off in front of us, that's no good either. We've been giving them a lot of room off the bottom every time. Tyler, you're going to have to coach them through it. We're going to have to side draft better. We're just going to have to, otherwise we're going to get eaten up like we have been all day. Copy? Got it.
That's the key. They need to side draft better. He needs to put that car right on the quarter panels of the car in front of him. We saw that when we were 3 wide there. Chris Sabella even touched him a little bit, Dave. That's serious side drafting.
Parker, let's slide back to 16th position and Denny Hamlin. Recall how his day has gone. An interference penalty on pit road and then a slow pit stop from the crew. Denny was not happy with it. Listen.
I want them to feel it just like we do.
Let's see if we can get Joe or Coy to come sit on the box the rest of the day. He wants them to feel it just like we do.
So upset with what had happened on pit.
Off turn 4.
18 into the grass. Kyle Busch, another issue. And we saw on the right side of that car, it looked like he had hit the wall. The right side wheels both looked like they had
so I just don't have lateral right now. Rear lateral 3 and 4. 1 and 2 is not bad. It's flipped in.
Give some feedback for some adjustments.
And just out like he's on a Sunday drive, which he is, but
so I wonder, is he moving around here to try to spit the carcass off the wheel to quit doing damage? Let's see what happened here, guys.
He's up against the wall, just trying to make speed on corner exit. Right there, the car starts coming around on him.
And when it digs into the ground, that pulls the tire off the wheel right there.
Through the white paint there also.
Pretty interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was thinking flat first. To your point, Junior, looks like he spins. Tire goes flat much later. Like right here, it's still up. Great shot of it.
Yeah, the grass grabs.
Oh, it blew right there.
Yep.
Blew right before it got to the grass.
And then he was swerving, and you think he was trying to get like what was left of the tire off the wheel to quit doing damage, because you could hear it banging around underneath that right rear.
Good camera work here.
He's being lapped right now, having to go slow down the back straightaway.
This will be a great shot.
Oh man, you could tell all the way through that corner. He wasn't really ever committed full throttle. You could hear the throttle like changing, the throttle position changing because of the balance of the car being so loose.
Pit road is open, and we're seeing drivers come down pit road in front of Kyle Busch. Kim?
Yeah, and as those drivers make the stop, first Chase Elliott, top left, he said he can keep the tires in the groove and under the car. That's the best they've been all weekend. Alan Gustafson said 4 tires Sunoco fuel. His teammate, top right, that's William Byron, said he just needs right rear grip, more control on that 24, Dave.
Leader Alex Bowman, tighter than I want to be, and small vibration. We'll see what comes off of this car in terms of tires. As for Joey Logano, much better again. So keep it going the same direction. Maybe even pick up a spot on pit road.
Bowman first to the line. Byron gains a spot. Logano loses one, and Chase Elliott holding on to his 4th position when he came onto pit road.
Denny Hamlin, big pickup back there, +4.
Work on the 18, trying to get Kyle Busch back out on the track. He's the reason for the 8th caution of the day. Today's aerial coverage brought to you by Geico as we look down on what has been a confusing first and second stage. Playoff drivers having issues on pit road. A couple playoff drivers already out with Reddick and Harvick. Kyle Busch spinning coming off turn 4. He's back out on the racetrack but scored a lap down right now.
He may be the only car a lap down, so he could, if it works out, he could be pretty easy to get the free pass.
Right now he's running 30th, and as you mentioned, he's the only car 1 lap down. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. shown 4 laps down in 31st. So yes, if
so we're the only car 1 lap down. It'll be about 22 to go when we get it.
If he can make it all the way to the next caution and get that free pass, be back on the lead lap.
And Rick, with 8 cautions already today and the chaos on pit road, I hope you have a documented line by line of exactly what's happened to everybody, because it's been a lot to keep up with.
Well, a lot. And you have playoff drivers like Denny Hamlin, as well as Kyle Busch, Daniel Suarez, all with issues on pit road. Then Kevin Harvick, Tyler Reddick, both wrecking out of the race.
And another thing to keep in mind, what 8 cautions have also done is required a lot of pit stops. The team started with 8 sets of tires in their pits, 7 stickers, and a set of scuffs. Most of the leaders' general statement is they've all pitted 5 times. So 3 sets of tires left with 126 to go. You know, this is that anxiety the crew chiefs are going to start having. If we run 26 at the end of that stage, you start the next stage with 2 sets, that doesn't feel awful, but you continue to get these yellows. When you put those tires on, could be the difference maker.
And you said that number 8 cautions already. If you're curious, there were only 8 cautions in the entire race in May that was held here earlier this year. And now drivers starting to choose, and Bowman chooses the inside line as Byron will take the high line.
Bowman has a teammate though on that outside that maybe some dealing going on there.
A lot of guys went to that outside though. Chase Elliott could have driven all the way up to row 2. He chose to go to row 3 on the outside instead. Steve, you mentioned all the trouble that the playoff drivers have had today. Well, I got a list.
All right.
It's a long one. Get ready. Sit down. The 3-car of Austin Dillon pit road penalty. The 4-car and the 8-car both. They're crashing out of the race. 11-car pit road penalty. The 12-car loose wheel. 14 pit road penalty. 18 pit road penalty and a spin. 48 contact on pit road and 99 pit road penalty. There you have it.
Pretty calm day.
That's all?
Yeah, that follows last week.
Well, 2x2 once again. We'll talk about restarts.
Just how chaotic they are here at this racetrack. Guys trying to get on the outside, guys willing to go to the inside, puts us 3, 4 wide all through the field. Big runs coming from behind. Drivers willing to do anything with them. You need a great spotter to be able to handle some of this stuff and get through it unscathed. Sometimes you're not lucky enough, as we see in that final restart there, which caused a big crash down into turn 1.
Back into the gas, Bowman and Byron making up row 1. Christopher Bell stays right on the back bumper of the 48, or now had to get way out of the gas. And that allows the 22 of Logano to move up to the outside.
Logano's got a big run and a push from this 9-car Chase Elliott down the back straightaway. Both of them trying to clear the 20 of Christopher Bell.
And 3 wide, look right there.
4 wide.
Yeah, 4 wide now.
Denny Hamlin around the top. Denny on the outside of that 2-car back there. Bubba Wallace on the inside.
Ryan Blaney was on the bottom of that 4 wide, and he is shot out underneath the 9 even of Chase Elliott. So Blaney trying to make the pass on the 9 of Chase Elliott, not going to be able to clear him there.
You guys discussed the choose. The 9 chose the 3rd lane up top. Christopher Bell went to the bottom. Christopher Bell now running in front of Chase Elliott.
Denny Hamlin dives down into the corner underneath the 2, slides up the racetrack. Now a big run here on the 12, side by side again with Bubba Wallace. Bubba's going to clear them both into turn 1.
That's his driver. That's Denny Hamlin's driver. Drives for him. Come on, man. Cut me some slack.
That 45 too fast. Cut slack today.
Heck yeah. Bubba Wallace going. That's what he's supposed to do.
Saw Ryan Blaney was going to look to the inside of Bubba as Bell moves off of the 22 and just in front of Logano.
Bubba fighting back on the outside here. Almost clears the 12. He finally does. Denny gets a big run. Blaney tries to fill that hole, not allow Denny to get there. Denny on the bottom, though, is going to be in a bad position off the corner. Oh, these guys are starting to get a little tired of each other. You can feel it.
Yeah, we're not to the end of stage 2, and we're already getting frustrated with each other. A lot of racing left to go.
Battle right here between Chase Elliott and Logano down the front straightaway. Chase with a little side draft there is going to draw him even into turn 1. He's going to dive into the corner. No slide job there because of Christopher Bell up in front of him. Going to have to sit here on the bottom and try to fight this 22 down the back straightaway.
Talk about these restarts, how crazy they are. Contact all over the place. Look at this.
Oh, man, it's pretty
Eric
big contact
Jones
there.
Gregson.
Yeah. Jones lucky to get out of there in one piece.
Jones like, man, I won last week.
They struggled today. Back half of the field most of the day, even after winning last week. This battle continues. The 9 of Chase Elliott and Logano. Denny Hamlin drawing into this fight here.
I actually think Denny's faster than these guys right now, but he just can't make the pass.
Almost some contact with Bubba Wallace in the 22. Denny has to get out of the gas. Carries a lot of throttle down in the corner, going to try to slide up in front of this 12 car. 45 of Bubba Wallace, not able to clear Logano off turn 4. Great racing right here.
Logano moves back in front of the 45 of Bubba Wallace. Let's see who is on the move. Power Moves are brought to you by the Propane Education and Research Council. You see the 18 positions gained by Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin. Justin Haley 15 spots, Keselowski 12 spots, and Ryan Blaney 9 positions made up.
Look back.
This continues to heat up.
Yeah, on the right side of the screen, the 5 car, Kyle Larson, hadn't talked about him all day long. He takes a spot away from the 12 car, Ryan Blaney. The battle in front of these guys continues. If they can sort it out, they can get up there and be in the middle of that.
Hamlin's now gotten on the outside of Bubba Wallace. Bubba back up in front of him down the back straightaway. Hamlin decides to push him. Now where's Hamlin going to go when they get to the 3? He decides to stay high. Bubba drives it way down into the corner. Going to be on the outside, on the inside of the 22. Now a big draft coming for the 11 car. Watch how he gains on these cars in front of him.
Going to try to help his driver there, Bubba Wallace, on the inside, push him down into turn 1. It's like, all right, go ahead, Bubba. You're clear. Let me race this 22, see if I can take this position away from Joey.
Denny knew that entire time. When they came off turn 4 side by side, it would give him an opportunity to have a big draft, pull up to him. He helped with his teammate, but he wasn't able to help himself. Now he's back to work, trying to get on the outside of Joey. Like I said, I think that 11 car is really fast. Just can't clear these guys.
Bubba Wallace not able to pull away from Logano once he got in front of him, but here comes the 11 once again of Denny Hamlin.
While that's going on, the 5 and the 12 continue to battle. Back and forth, passing each other one lap after the next.
8th position for Blaney, Larson running in 9th. Bowman out front, Byron running 2nd. Just 7 laps to go in stage 2, and Bowman and Bell getting a little closer between 1 and 2. A little bit further back, the first non-playoff driver is Bubba Wallace, running in the 5th position, Kim.
And a good rebound for him. He had a loose wheel earlier, so had to pit twice and lose a little track position. But he told me before the race he felt really good about today. They're really close to what they had in the spring, where they finished 10th. Right now he radioed to the team, just a little bit too loose, especially into 1, Dave.
Denny Hamlin has driven from 11th to 6th on this run. Crew Chief Chris Gabehart telling him, I gave you, quote, a healthy dose of freeing you up. That has helped a lot for the 11, Parker.
And Dave, another Toyota is making his way through the field from a loose wheel. Is that 19 of Martin Truex Jr. Been very fast today. I spent some time with this team earlier today, and it was funny to hang out because they said, you know, there might be a silver lining to missing the playoffs. Although they're upset about that, they said, we're very relaxed and we have one goal now. That is to win races. You'll see us take all the risk at any point to try to get to the front, and that 19 car has been fast. If he can get that track switching back, I think they could be a contender here today.
Christopher Bell thinking about coming up here and trying to get this lead with 5 to go in this stage.
3 car lengths is the gap, and Bell running just a little bit lower line through the turn than Bowman in that 48.
Bell won stage 1.
And as we close in on the end of this stage, only 1 car, 1 lap down. That's Kyle Busch. It's not really moved forward after his spin through the front straightaway grass, but will benefit with the free pass here.
Yeah, and he may be, we don't know if his car is damaged or maybe he's just riding, knowing he's going to get this free pass.
His last lap, 32.74, pretty consistent with the guys he's running around. Coming up on 3 laps to go.
Alex Bowman played a little clip before the race started. He said he was here to try to prove to people he deserved to be here. Trying to give himself some confidence, his team some confidence, in here leading this stage with only 3 to go. It's a great way to build some confidence.
If history shows us anything, Bowman's only stage win of this year was at Las Vegas, and then he went on to win the race. So if he can duplicate that, 2 more laps here, if he can get stage 2 win, as you see things heating up here between Hamlin in the 11 and Chase Elliott in that 9. Fifth and 6th, these 2 are running. Larson behind him in 7th, Logano and Blaney 8th and 9th, and Chastain and Cindric running 10th and 11th. Hamlin looking once again down a little bit lower compared to Chase Elliott. And it's 1 lap to go in stage 2.
And 1 to go. BJ McLeod is not that far in front of the battle for the lead. I don't think Bowman's going to get to him, but if he did, that would really hurt Kyle Busch. But I think Kyle's safe.
He's going to be thankful this wasn't about a 3-lap longer run.
There's Alex Bowman coming out of turn 4 for the final time here in stage 2. And Alex Bowman is going to win stage 2. Again, as I mentioned, only his 2nd stage win of the year. His first one came at Las Vegas. He went on to win that race. We'll see if he has the same results here. You're watching the NASCAR Cup Series playoff from Kansas. This telecast presented by Applebee's. It's been a crazy first 2 stages. We'll see how stage 3 unfolds when we return. NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on USA. It's Hollywood Casino 400. About ready to have pit stops before the final stage. And Steve, it seems like Joe Gibbs Racing has always been the class of the field when it comes to pit stops, but maybe a little bit of inconsistency today.
Yeah, during our Through the Field, Dave brought up some great radio from Denny Hamlin asking for this man, Joe Gibbs, maybe to come join him on the 11 box. You know, this 11 pit crew has been a point of contention for Denny Hamlin. There's a couple races they have lost. Think about this. The first pit stop looks good at 11 seconds, but there was a penalty along with that one. And then they have another nice stop at lap 68. But then look at lap 83, 17 seconds. I mean, that's 6 seconds basically off the pace. Now they have recovered as well, but it's those 17-second stops and those penalties, the inconsistency of the 11. When I talked to Denny about this, he goes, I would just take okay or slow stops if they were just consistent. It's the inconsistency that gets them. Now they've recovered. They're running 6 for the 11 car. You know, what will come this time they come down pit road?
Yeah. You're hoping for a consistent stop, and the coach there didn't look like he was too worried yet. He still has just under 100 laps to go in this race, as all the pit crew members are up on the wall and anticipating their drivers to come right in front of them for them to do service. We'll start with Kim.
And for Chase Elliott, he brushed the wall, lap 162, asked the team under caution, what's the damage? They said just really a light right rear scrape, no concern there. 4 tires, Sunoco fuel, his teammate, that top right box. William Byron said really just need right rear security. He said put on the security, and he took 6 lap scuffs, Parker.
And Christopher Bell is a points guarding machine. 1 stage, 1 second in stage 2, just a little loose in that 20 car, Dave.
Alex Bowman defended the lead on the track. Can he do it on pit road? The car was just a little bit tighter than he wanted to. How about that move off, Rick? Will he have it?
Really close. Bubba Wallace was within a spot of taking that top spot away, but it's Bowman who has that much of a lead when they come off of pit road. Take a look at today's race recap, built by Northern Tool and Equipment. We'll bring in the Peacock Pit Box, DJ and Brad. Guys, it starts with troubles for the 4.
There's troubles all around here, and it seems more with the playoff drivers. And guys, I have to be honest, as we watch this, we see Harvick with his problems, and we're going to see Tyler Reddick have his problems. But as I've been sitting down here through the first 2 stages, all I can think about is the great Vince Lombardi saying, what the hell's going on out here?
That's exactly right. This is unbelievable. I mean, pit stop problems. We see guys that we have tire problems, guys not giving each other enough room, hard racing, 4 wide. Then you see Kyle Busch just spin out on his own. You never see this. I don't know what's going on. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's odd. I think it's just the pressure. But where do we go from here?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and Steve's brought this up as the other guys have, that through all of these cautions and everything going on, they've used a lot of tires.
Yes,
so
they've
kind of backed themselves into a corner as to what they're going to be able to do here in stage 3. Now, when it comes time to either get you a great finish or battle for that win.
Rick, I'm telling you, they might be out of tires. It's going to be a waiting game.
Yeah, and Steve had mentioned earlier there were 3 sets. Now they've come to pit road. There should only be 2 sets of tires left for this last stage, which is 97 laps, Steve.
Yeah, two sets of tires, which is more than enough. If we have green flag racing, probably only 1 stop in the middle of this stage. But if we see a bunch of yellows, when you burn a set of tires up, and to add on to that conversation about the 11's pit crew, we threw up the stats, we talked about the inconsistencies, and they went ahead and said, we hear you, we see you, we're gonna gain 3 spots, get our driver up to the 2nd row. So, you know, that's what you're looking for. It's just you gotta try to be consistent here with definitely some pit stops still remaining.
Bubba Wallace also with a great stop. He picked up 2 spots. That is a Joe Gibbs Racing provided team. So Joe Gibbs Racing stepped up on that round of pit stops. Dave, what do you have on the 48?
The white 48 held serve on pit road, but there was some concern about the guy behind him.
I want to play with fire here, but the 20 was pushing us the whole way down pit road. Yeah, I know. Lost a couple there. So as long as those boys down there keep hammering it out, we don't need a penalty. You know what I mean? We're all good here. My stuff goes from 1 yellow to all red to all black. So I'm just trying to do the best I can.
Yeah, that
don't need somebody else helping you to a speeding penalty.
That conversation was all about Alex Bowman. His crew chief saying, hey, we need a little more speed on pit road, but Alex doesn't have confidence in the lights. He's afraid he's going to get caught speeding. That's why he was being pushed down pit road.
Bubba Wallace on the outside, Alex Bowman on the inside as we get ready to start stage 3. Again as they go through 1 and 2.
Christopher Bell on the outside of Denny Hamlin down the back straightaway. Still side by side for 2nd.
Hamlin with that good pit stop, but giving it all back up on this restart.
Still a great battle right there for 2nd. Bubba Wallace on the outside. William Byron on the inside.
Kyle Larson behind him trying to figure out which way to go. Does he go low? Does he stay high?
He's trying to help his teammate a little bit on the back straightaway, but knows that inside line often doesn't prevail. If that was Byron on the outside, he'd probably already pushed him clear, helped him get around. He's going to go to the top here, see what kind of momentum this 5-car gets off the high side here as these 2 on the inside, side by side, are going to slow each other down on its back straightaway. Big run from the 5. He's going 3 wide. No, he's going to push his teammate.
Bubba had to lift on the exit of turn 2. He got tight. Oh, so close.
Up the racetrack goes the 24 of Byron.
Byron was going to bury it down in the corner, and Bubba said, no, we're both going in there. What a race.
Bubba hanging onto the spot, but a little bit loose there. The 24 clears him. Logano got to the back bumper of Bubba Wallace.
Sure did. Got him uncomfortable there for a minute. Now we're side by side with the hindered teammates. What does Bubba do?
Bubba's going to stay behind the 24. That high line right now. Larson dives down low through 3. Up the racetrack he'll come. Now, does he have enough momentum? He gets right to the back bumper of William Byron.
I think it's surprising that he got that close to William. He was just trying to clear the 45, but he almost could have stayed underneath William, just chose not to. That's some hard racing right here.
It's fun to watch, man. These guys are duking it out.
While that racing was happening, the 6 of Brad Keselowski made an unscheduled pit stop. We'll see. Had that look of maybe a loose wheel or a flat tire. I mean, came right away right after the restart.
Here comes a run by the 45. Once again, Bubba Wallace, what's he going to do with it? He looked high, decided against it, and that lost that momentum.
Larson to the bottom. He cannot do anything with that 24 car pinned on the wall. Can't quite get to the quarter panel there, Rick. Down the back straightaway, falls back in line. Here comes Bubba Wallace again. Larson knows he's not going to get to the top of the racetrack. Goes right back to the bottom again. No confidence really in that move.
It's in a tough spot right here.
Yeah.
He tries to drive underneath William and it doesn't work. Bubba Wallace will jump on the outside and try to take that spot. So he's got to play a little bit of defense while trying to attack.
Middle of the racetrack. Closes the gap down a little bit with the 24, but then out against the wall. They stay a car length apart. 1, 2, 3 for Hendrick Motorsports. Bowman, Byron, and Larson. And then running in that 4th spot, as we take a look at the Toyota driver update, it's Bubba Wallace. Again, behind the wheel of the 45, 23-11 made the change, running for an Owners Championship. Wanted to have their best people in every position to see if they can accomplish that. So that's why Bubba Wallace now running the 45.
Interesting race here as far as organizations as we watch the 11 and the 12 battle. Hendrick cars right now up front, first 3 positions, but we've all felt that the Toyotas and especially the Gibbs cars really quick at tracks like this, expected them to move toward the front. Right now, Hendrick controls the race. We've seen some good pace out of the Toyotas. They just have not been able to get the track position and get it and keep it.
Hamlin's inches away from being able to clear Blaney. He just can't quite do it. Now they've caught Logano.
Yeah, you got 2 Penske drivers there nose to tail with Logano and the 12 of Blaney, but Blaney goes to the bottom.
Larson finally clears the 24, but slides up the racetrack. Those two guys racing allow Bubba with a massive run around the bottom of the racetrack to clear into 2nd place. Jeff, you talked about it. They have to race on the defense, can't get really offensive there. When he did try a slide job, slowed both those cars down, gives P2 to Bubba.
And then the battle for 6 going on while that's happening, racing all over the racetrack. It's incredible. You see the 12 got by the 22, the 11 got by Logano also. Now these guys go at each other. If you want a good race and you tuned into a good one, these guys all day long, all year long it's been like this.
Yeah, Bowman's pulled out to a 1.6 second lead over Bubba Wallace, but now Bubba Wallace with a little cleaner air, we'll see what he can do with that.
Yeah, it was about a half a second until those guys started racing right there and they slowed it to the way down. Bubba goes into 2nd place. So see if he truly can try to run down that 48 car.
There's the gap.
Christopher Bell in the right side of the screen has worked his way into 5th position. Had real good speed in practice. Kind of closed in on the back of these guys, the 5-car Larson and the 24.
Further behind, we talked about Kyle Busch being the 1st car lap down. He's gained 6 spots since the restart, up to 24th spot. Doesn't seem to have a ton of speed though. Still maybe some work to do to that car. Here we ride along with him.
He's way out of gas compared to, you know, what we've been listening to earlier today. Not able to make the speed, like you say, with some sort of damage to underneath of that car. Maybe going through the grass has damaged some of the components underneath that's affecting the downforce.
Kyle Busch, after getting that free pass, running in the 24th position. Definitely not as competitive as we have seen him throughout this race. But Bowman, the winner of stage 2, still up front, a 2.5 seconds over Wallace. Still 1.5 seconds, the gap between Bowman and Wallace. Those two continue to run 1 and 2. Then it's Byron Larson back in 3rd and 4th. Bell in 5th. A little bit further back in the field is Penske drivers Joey Logano and Cindric. Those two running in the 10th and 11th position. Speaking of Penske drivers, spoiler alert, we're going to let you know what happened today in the IndyCar Series race that just concluded. The checkered flag goes to Alex Palou. Congratulations on winning the race, and it was for a title, a championship, and guess who won it? For the second time, Will Power is the IndyCar champion. So he's celebrating with the captain, Roger Penske, there to celebrate with Will Power as we continue to battle here on the racetrack. Bowman, Wallace again 1 and 2. Bell here with Larson chasing after, running in the 4th and 5th position.
Yeah, Christopher Bell actually took the spot away from Larson. Larson, I really thought that this was going to be a day for him to shine. It's exactly the kind of racetrack that Larson's super fast at. Hasn't been able to really show the pace that his teammate Alex Bowman has had. Christopher Bell, I thought, was one of the best cars in practice, sitting here running in 4th place. One of the best Gibbs cars all weekend.
Yeah, not the pace that you would expect, but on the other hand, a clean race, right? No major issues. That is a major part of getting through this first round, is just having races that you don't have problems. Larson had that engine problem at Darlington. They recovered from that and got a reasonable finish. Today, so far, not much issue for them, that's okay in round 1.
And we're, with Bell, we're looking at a driver who went from, I think, maybe the 4th driver at that team in terms of performance and numbers to the best. He's sitting here right now in the playoffs with an opportunity, to go really far with that 20 car as well as they've run.
Yeah, he and his teammate, he and his crew chief Adam Stevens, when you talk to them, they have tons of confidence. They feel like they're the best car, the best team at Gibbs.
Yeah.
They've been looking forward to these playoffs.
They run like it.
And you mentioned, Junior, advance in the playoffs. He's got 55 points over that cut line right now. That's Christopher Bell. And then, of course, the 48 of Alex Bowman. If he wins the race, he advances into that next round.
Well, Christopher Bell is not the fastest Toyota. I can assure you of that. He might be the best of the Gibbs cars, but the fastest Toyota is Bubba Wallace in 2nd. He is 2 or 3/10 of a second faster than the leader every single lap. He's running down Alex Bowman. It has it under 7/10 of a second currently. We see a good battle here between the 9 and the 22.
Yeah, 22, Logano, Steve, he's struggling. He's getting past. Really been holding up a group of guys pretty hard. The guys finally got by him, has driven away from him. Not having a good run right now with this set of tires.
Parker, what's going on with the 5 of Larson?
Well, you guys mentioned you thought maybe it would have been a little bit better today, and how Christopher Bell just recently got by him. That happened because Kyle Larson actually got into the wall. He said it's probably the hardest we've hit it all day, and that's what makes him so faster. He and I talked about earlier. He can run that wall better than anybody, but there's a lot of risk that goes with that. He hit the wall recently. That's why Christopher Bell got by, and he also is very loose in clean air, and that's a hard thing to do when you run next to the wall, to be loose in that car.
Bubba Wallace last time by 3/10 of a second faster than Alex Bowman. Bowman catching the 78 to put him a lap down. BJ McLeod goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Very classy by BJ, giving the preferred lane to the leaders. But Bowman is being tracked down. Look at the speed out of that 45.
Hey, remember the 45 car was the best car here earlier this year. They've obviously brought that same speed and performance in this car. We know that the pass was made on a Hendrick car late in the race, just on the inside. Can Bubba, Bubba's probably watched a lot of that information and understands how that pass was made. Can he make it actually happen here in reality today?
Big run here.
Look how much faster he is right now.
And he's running that line right there where he needs to be to have that clean air on the car.
Watch down here as he enters turn 3. He's been able to make a ton of time up on corner entry and roll in the middle.
Bowman, though, takes that line away.
So now Bowman on defense, as we know that they will still have to come to pit road at least once in this stage.
And Bowman just ran almost a car length off the wall in 3 and 4.
Another big run there as they entered 1. Dave, what about the 48? What have they been saying?
Rick, they're saying their last pit stop maybe about 20 laps from now. The changes that Alex Bowman would want there, he'll have to tell them about, because right now he is out in clean air holding off Bubba Wallace. He's been being told by Kevin Hamlin, his spotter, a lot about the lines everyone's running. Wants him to be up near that wall, but here comes Bubba Wallace down to the bottom. That's the other place you have to protect.
Looking for the lead. Bubba Wallace just about a car length below what we saw out of the 48, but it doesn't give him enough run as he looks to the inside this time through 3 and 4.
Quite a bit lower on the bottom of the racetrack. Look at that run, 18, a big, big moment for Alex Bowman. In the middle of the corner, has to get way out of the gas. He's new leader.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace right now is a lot faster. You just saw why. Alex Bowman's car does not make enough grip for him to push. When he tried to push harder, it just wasn't there. Had to come all the way out of the gas. Bubba Wallace was able to take advantage of it. Just put some pressure on Alex. Made Alex try to push that car, find some speed. When he tried to find it, the car stepped out on him.
All right, Steve, Booty Barker calling the shots for the 45. What is he going to do with Bubba now that he's got the lead? When does he come? How early does he come?
Look, you split this last run up in half. It's about lap 219. The fall off isn't gigantic. So if Bubba can stretch it out to a big enough lead, that kind of takes the pressure off Booty. He can let the 48 pit and come the next lap. Problem is, if you stay too close to the 48 and he comes a lap early, Kim, you could get passed on pit road. That's really what the 45 is trying to do right here.
And that team making some really great, very minor adjustments on the car, because before the end of stage 2, Bubba had come on the radio and said when he got within 5 car lengths of anybody else, he was really fighting it and needed to be tighter or else he was just going to lose the back end. Well, they obviously made the right adjustments. He was able to get around the 48, so smooth sailing with clean air right now for Bubba Wallace in P1.
And as Bubba takes the lead and we look at our timing screen here, the Toyotas have come to life on this long run. Christopher Bell, top 3 lap times every time. Denny Hamlin, top 3 lap times every time. 65 to go. We'll see if there's enough time for all those Toyotas to join Bubba at the front.
New leader, Bubba Wallace, leading the way here at Kansas. Bubba Wallace now with a 1.6 second lead over Bowman. So Bowman running in that second spot. Wallace up front, looking for his first win of 2022. As we see Christopher Bell going by the 24 of Byron, he is up to that third spot. Listen in to Bubba Wallace's radio.
All right, would you like me to sign you up some more for this next run? Please, a little bit. How y'all doing down there? Good? Yeah, we're pretty relaxed. Good, me too.
That's good to have a little bit of fun with your conversation while you're racing at nearly 190 miles an hour.
Two-car of Cindric got into the fence a little bit in the middle of 3 and 4. He's going under Ray. Like contact.
A lot of options here. We've seen this is a 38-lap green flag run, currently the longest run of the day. They can go nearly 70 on fuel. Cannot make this final run on fuel, so the question is, about 10 laps from now will be halfway of this run. Do you pit at that point, put fresh tires on? I think somebody would stay out and run long just to make it uncomfortable, so it's going to be some uncomfortable running happening here in about 10 laps.
And remember, we've seen a little bit of right rear tire problem, so later in this run, are some teams getting nervous about that? Look at Christopher Bell. We just saw him get by William Byron. Now he's taking the fight to Alex Bowman. You said it, Steve. The Toyota's lit up on this long run.
57 laps coming up on 56 to go, and now it's Wallace and Bell 1 and 2.
Yeah, last week's winner, Eric Jones on pit road, he was just lapped. That's a pretty standard pit call. Once you go a lap down, pit, put on fresh tires to try to jump in front of the leaders if it runs long. Dave Allen's continuing to swing.
So, Steve, this is Bubba Wallace's 176th race. He won at Talladega last year. He now is in a situation where he can't get complacent here. I know they were joking and carrying around on radio, but they're going to have to make this car better. That Christopher Bell in that 20, he is flying right now. They got to stay aggressive. They got to keep working to make this car better.
I agree. I like the fact that they're not so tense they can't get it done, but don't lose focus at this point. Keep swinging. You mentioned it. Christopher Bell, that last lap, 1/10 better than his Toyota partner there, the 45 of Bubba Wallace.
But guys, remember how much Bubba Wallace beat himself up after the Michigan race, saying he thought he should have won that race, made mistakes, and so now is he thinking about that? Now that he's out front, looks like he has one of the best cars.
So tire fall off about 1 second. So you look at Christopher Bell, 2.5 seconds back. So what Booty Barker knows is if Bell comes to pit road and he comes the next lap, he shouldn't lose the lead. But if you run 2 laps, you would lose enough time, perhaps, or be very, very close. We see Martin Truex Jr. is the first car. No surprise. They're going to come down pit road. It looks like they might have had a little contact with the wall, looking at the right side. Parker.
Right, and this team told me they were going to be aggressive. They got nothing to lose. They're not in the playoffs. They are simply going for wins, and this is part of being aggressive right here. First on pit road, 4 tires, first of the leaders. Dave?
Denny Hamlin now hits pit road. You'll see him take that pit road speed limit as far as he can, but not overextend it. Come to his pit stall, get enough fuel to go to the end. This will be just about the same amount of time on this run as it was the last run. Meanwhile, you see William Byron on pit road. Hamlin finally to his pit stall. He'll get 4 tires and fuel, Kim.
And as you see William Byron finishing up his stop, Chase Elliott as well. He said the car came to me. I put myself in bad spots is all. He did say, though, there was less grip and less forgiving to fire up. As you see, Bubba Wallace there, we documented just way too loose. The longer the run goes, they will tighten them up just a little bit. Air pressure adjustment, Parker, on the 45.
And Chris Bell also on pit road following that 45 here as he was starting to make time on it. It's be 4 tires for him, just getting a little tight in the center. He said there's about a 1 number, so it's a small adjustment. We'll see how he joins behind the 45 there.
See the 45 leaving out in front of the 20. Nice work by both driver and crew of the 45 car. The 20 was about 2.5 seconds behind him. We'll see if they reblend. On the scoring side of the screen, you see Bowman continuing to lead. Larson now on pit road with Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, I think that was advantage to Bubba Wallace. I think he is going to end up netting out on that pit stop. He's probably gained some ground on that 20.
The 5 car there of Kyle Larson on pit road. He was getting far too loose towards the end of that run. You saw the adjustment in the right rear trying to tighten up that 5 car for Ryan Blaney. He said simply the car went to junk during that run, making a slew of adjustments air pressure wise. Dave?
And Alex Bowman now on pit road, about 35 laps in. He said, this is where I'm really struggling, and that's when you saw Christopher Bell, or Bubba Wallace, and then Christopher Bell get around him. He said, I'm going to have to be tighter for this last run if I'm going to be effective with these cars. So Bowman will come in now. He'll get an adjustment here, 4 tires, fuel. Then we'll see where he blends back in against those that have already pitted up front, Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell in particular.
Pit stops continue right here. The 48 getting service on the track still. Suarez, Briscoe, Logano, Ty Dillon, Gregson, Castle, Ware, all hoping for a caution before they come to pit road. The gap between, if it does cycle through, the gap between the 45 and the 20 much larger than it was before the pit stop. Kudos to both Bubba and his pit crew getting on and off pit road nice and clean.
Yeah, it's about 4 seconds between the 2 cars now, that 45 and the 20.
Yeah, and right here, the 20 of Bell has some real company with the 11 of Denny Hamlin.
Hamlin, a 3-time winner here at Kansas.
So for the cars that are staying on the racetrack, we'll talk about what they're looking for. We have Suarez with Logano, as now we see the 14 of Briscoe on pit road, left side tires going on. The cars on the racetrack are just looking for a yellow. They want a yellow to come out before they have to pit. That's kind of their best hope right now, because they do have a lot of cars a lap down. Only 11 cars total on the lead lap, with Suarez and Logano staying on the racetrack. The negative is they're losing time to all those cars that have new tires.
Talk about the 11 catching the 20 right here. Denny Hamlin and his team, they got on pit road a lap before. So there's about a second in lap time on newer tires that helped them close the gap.
Here's some congestion. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and that Sonny D 47. Logano, as well as Brad Keselowski. Stenhouse Jr. scored in the 31st position. He is still 4 laps down, as we see Bowman now trying to go by Suarez here.
Yeah, this would be to unlap himself. Very important for Alex Bowman to get by the leader Suarez. Puts himself back on the lead lap. Now, if caution comes out, you could stay on the racetrack.
So, Steve, when does the 99 decide enough is enough and decide to pit?
Oh, I think at this point he's committed. He's going to run all 70 laps on this tank of fuel. I mean, if you weren't, there was no reason to stay this long, so they pitted last at 168. So you figure they can run probably almost to lap 240. Probably about 15 or 16 to go.
So almost 19 laps from now, we could still see that 99 out there on track. The 1, or the 5, excuse me, of Kyle Larson also unlapping himself.
Yeah, it was 45 laps to go. Daniel Suarez, Joe Logano stay on the racetrack hoping for a yellow. If the cycle gets completed, Bubba Wallace would be the leader. Well, we're here next time for Daniel Suarez. To answer Jeff Burton's question, I would say he would run long. I don't know why he would only run 8 or 10 laps. And then not, you know, if you're going to run. Now, the one thing is I assume they can run 70 on fuel, but we don't know if it was full.
Right.
Remember, 4-tire pit stops, you can only put about 15 gallons of gas in. So it's very possible that the 99, to your point, Jeff, is running to that spot, running until he's out of gas. It may not be 70 laps because the tank might not have been full in the 99.
He's moved to the inside of the back straightaway, allowing the 12 of Blaney to go around him. That ensures him the inside line for a pit stop here through 3 and 4. And here he is slowing down to make that entrance.
Suarez is going to give up the lead. Logano still out on the racetrack. He will take over the lead as Suarez now on pit road. Dave.
And Rick, I believe he was 12th before the cycle of pit stops began, so we'll see if there's any net gain to his day this afternoon. But remember, for Daniel Suarez in the playoffs by virtue of his Sonoma win, trying to make something happen here this afternoon, Travis Mack leaving him out, now brings him in, gives him Sunoco fuel and Goodyear tires. Steve, I know it takes a while to put on the 4 tires. Is there any gain on a little shorter fill here?
Well, when I looked at the other leaders coming to pit road, I don't think they had to wait on fuel. I think the 4 tires was enough, 15 gallon. What you don't want is this right here. Big issue. Problems on the left front for the 99. Bottom of the screen, the 22 of Joe Logano now coming to pit road. So it's going to be hard to see how this is going to work for the 99 because the pit stop very, very slow. Now we have Joey Logano. He will complete the cycle, handing the lead to Bubba Wallace.
Dave.
And recall that I called out 2 issues. You work on the worst one or the thing that's going to help you better. So the looseness in this race car is what Joey really wanted fixed up. Paul Wolf saying we're going to get you tightened up here, and we'll see what he can make out of today. Remember, last week was a race where they didn't think they had a whole lot going in and made a lot out of it. We'll see if they can pick something up here at the end.
Be very interesting to see where Joey Logano blends. He ran 10 extra laps over the leaders at about a second a lap. He should be 10 seconds behind where he was running. Now he will, have fresher tires, but we'll see. As there you go. You see the leader go by, Bubba Wallace. 22 of Joey Logano was running 13th. We'll let this all cycle around and give you a little update when we get back.
Wallace out front, 3.5 second lead over second place Christopher Bell. Can he get win number 2? And will it come today at Kansas? It's the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs from Kansas. This telecast presented by Applebee's. Out front, Bubba Wallace. It could be a big story for Dave Burns to talk about when he goes to NBC Sports on Sirius XM on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. That's NASCAR Radio Channel 90. Dave's going to be chatting about this week's race as well as Bristol coming up next, the final race of round 1. Let's go through the field. We'll start with Kim.
And Bubba Wallace at the point there. When I talked to crew chief Booty Barker before the race, I asked him specifically about green flag stops getting on pit road, and he felt like that's one place his driver could shine. We saw that on the last stop. He maintained that track position, had a very clean stop. Also, Bubba very focused right now. Usually he's very chatty on the radio, Parker. Right now, completely silent, just various updates from his spotter.
And Kim, for Christopher Bell, he came out of the pits over 4 seconds behind Bubba Wallace, that 45 car, and now has cut that deficit to 2.6 seconds. And the team has been letting him know that he's been shaving that deficit, that they can catch that 45, telling him where his lap times are better. And just this last lap, he was over a 10th faster in that 45. He has the speed. We'll see what he can do when he gets there, Dave.
What a great comeback for Toyota Racing Development. TRD makes the motors for these cars, and they are running up front, and they are running well after some problems last week. Denny Hamlin, quiet on the radio now. He's got what he's got. Can he pass his teammate and Bubba Wallace? Kim.
When I talked to crew chief Rudy Fugle on the 24 car this morning, he said the driver, the crew chief, and the team's performance during the summer weeks that they didn't shine was not indicative of their ability, but more so just the new car. And Rudy even said his first year being in Cup and him learning the ropes, making the right calls and right adjustments, well, he certainly has stepped up his game during the playoffs. They have adjusted that car to Byron's liking, currently running in the 4th position ahead of his teammate Alex Bowman, Dave.
and Alex had adjustments on that run, but he lost track position. So Bowman, who has led 107 laps today, yes, the car's a little bit better, but he's 8.5 seconds out of the lead. If this race stays green, that's going to be tough to make up, Parker.
And for Ross Chastain in the 6th position, this is exactly the kind of day this team needed coming into this race. They had 7 straight finishes outside the top 10, and we know how fast they've been. They knew they had the speed, but they just need to execute and put a day together. Running in 6th, he has to be very happy with that day. Behind him is Kyle Larson there, who's trying to come back from getting into the wall. On the last run, it slowed him down. The team was checking over the car and trying to see if it was damaged, and so far it seems like he still has the speed inside that 5 car. Then behind him is the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., who was very fast early in the race, led 24 laps, but they had a loose wheel and have been trying to come back from that ever since and sort of stalled out here around the 8th position. And then Ryan Blaney in the 12th car. This team is fun to hang out with since they've been in the playoffs because of the stress that they had getting into playoffs. Think about how close they were making in at Daytona, and since the playoffs started at Darlington last week, they said it felt like a new season had started for this 12 car, and you can sense it when you hang out with them and the confidence they have. A solid day in the top 10, guys.
Bubba Wallace, car still looks like it's driving pretty good, but traffic is definitely hurting his lap times. The lead now down to under 2 seconds, and the concern I have is the 22 behind him is trying to unlap himself. So I believe he's going to have the chance to fight Bubba Wallace. He has to, and if that battle holds this 45 up at all, that 20 car is only maybe a quarter of the way down the backstretch behind him.
Yeah, the 20 car is about a tenth or sometimes 2/10 quicker than Bubba. And the guys that Bubba catches, especially the guys on the lead lap, they are going to race hard to try to maintain themselves on the lead lap because that 22 car is right there to be able to take the free pass away from them quickly when they lose that lap to Bubba.
Now that time Bubba Wallace was faster than the 20 of Christopher Bell. Christopher, he has caught some lap traffic. All these things matter. I mean, it's 30, essentially 29 laps left. Every 10th of a second could matter.
When Bubba passes the 10 of Eric Almirola, that'll put him as the highest scored non-lead lap car. And so that's what Logano is fighting against as well, but Bubba's got to get by him.
Bubba really having a hard time here trying to get around the 10. He's going to dive to the inside of the racetrack there. 22 is going to try to follow.
Steve, about 10 laps fresher tires for the 22. Will that continue to play out to where as he looks to try to unlap himself here?
Yeah, it's going to become tougher just because I don't think his car is as good as the 45, so he needs to use the tire advantage. It's an advantage for the whole run, but it's less and less the longer you get into a run. If it's an ill-handling race car, you're just going to lose the balance. But this is what he has to do. Joey Logano's going to look to the bottom and try to continue to fight for this 45. We have Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin. Now, Denny Hamlin has really turned it on. He's closed in on the back bumper of Christopher Bell. That'll be the next move that Bubba Wallace is going to want Bell and Denny to run side by side forever.
For about 27 laps?
Yeah.
I don't think that the 22 has quite enough pace just to go up there and pass Bubba. He's really kind of having a hard time getting much closer to this. But he is, Bubba's aware of it, right? And so does Bubba get defensive at all with his line? Maybe running a little bit lower right here. So giving up a little bit of time on the racetrack, maybe a 10th of lap, trying to keep this 22 car behind him.
Good laps being put together by Bubba Wallace out front, 26 laps to go. The gap between first and second remains 2 seconds. Bubba Wallace in front of Christopher Bell. They're both working their way through lap traffic right now, and just 20 laps to go when he crosses the stripe here for Bubba Wallace, looking after his second win potentially in the Cup Series. Jeff, how'd he get here?
Now, Christopher Bell right now has a little bit quicker race car, not a lot, but look at this pit stop. Green flag stops lap 2:14. Look at the driver time. Bubba Wallace with the second better driver time than Christopher Bell. Pit stops very similar. That good job getting on pit road and off pit road has a major factor in why he's got this lead right now.
It's Bubba Wallace that's out front. You see the gap between 1 and 2. Now 19 laps to go. We're here until the checkered flag, as long as we stay green.
Bubba's going to have to go to the bottom of the racetrack down here to try to get around this lap car. He's lost a little bit here. 10th here, 10th there. That's going to cost him a little bit of speed on this particular lap. But now there's 3 lap cars in between him and second place.
And Christopher Bell's been having a little more of an issue trying to get by these lap cars.
Well, these are good lap cars also. Justin Haley, he's run well today, not having on his best run, but still running in 18th. And in front of that is Joey Logano. We know he's on new tires. So Denny Hamlin right behind Christopher Bell, also trying to make a run on Christopher.
Do you race the guy different if he's the leader or running second? We get out of the way for the guy running second to see if he can chase him down.
Well, I think that if you're on the lead lap, you're going to try to stay there. So you're going to race the leader a little bit harder, especially late in the race like this, at least to try to maintain the free pass.
Yeah, well, Haley and
Logano. 22 needs to help us when we get there. It's not going to hurt his race at all to help us.
That's right. So that's the information that you're wanting to try to get to the cars, the lap cars, if you're second place. Hey, man. You don't need to no need to try to hold me up. I'm second place. I'm not trying to put you a lap down. You're already a lap down. Let me go on by. That's the only chance this 20 car has.
I think the better chance is for Denny if he can get by the 20. He has had enough speed to run him down. I think he has a better car. This is just going to be a very hard pass to make.
Now it's side by side for second. Hamlin trying to take second away from Bell. Parker.
They were trying to tell Christopher about that line that Denny had in 3 and 4 there. That's the first time Christopher went up there right on the wall, being able to use that. And think about where Christopher is right now. Right now, he's 57 points to the good in the cut line here. Even if he doesn't win or finish second or third, he's in a great position at Bristol, Dave.
Denny Hamlin's getting encouragement from his crew chief. Sometimes you don't believe everything you hear, but this time it was absolutely right. Chris Gabehart saying they're coming back to you. Denny going forward now for second place.
The question is, did he lose too much time getting by the 20? Over 2 seconds back, 15 laps to go. The 45 of Bubba Wallace has a little bit of traffic in front, but I think he's been able to work through traffic pretty good. I thought he was having a hard time earlier, but as the tires have aged, this 45 car really gets through traffic pretty good.
Well, we're getting ready to find out. Right now, the 11 of Hamlin has cleared Cody Ware. Now we're going to find out. He's going to come around here. This isn't going to be a great lap for us, but this will be the next lap around. Will be a clean lap for Christopher Bell. He ran the same speed, even with that traffic, as Bubba Wallace. Let's see what he can run with complete clean air.
How about the fact that with just 14 laps to go, under 14 laps to go, none of the playoff drivers of the 16 that are fighting to get into the next round, none are locked in yet. And we've got a possibility of another different winner in 2022. It would be the 18th different winner if Bubba Wallace can hang on to this.
All right, let's see the lap times. Bubba Wallace, a 32 flat. Denny Hamlin, a 31.79. 0.2 of a second faster.
The math would say that's enough, but in front of Denny Hamlin is Joey Logano. This 22 car was not fast enough to run Bubba down and unlap himself. Now he is going to be a thorn in the side of the 11. He's going to be very hard to pass.
Yeah, I don't think Joey's going to see the plight of that 11 car and move over. He's saying, man, I'm running my own race. I want an opportunity to get the free pass. If the caution comes out, I'm racing hard.
Another 1/10 of a second. Denny Hamlin was able to cut out of the lead. He's got to get by this 22 now. He cannot wait 2 or 3 laps. It's got to happen now.
The gap 1.9 seconds between 1 and 2, Wallace and Hamlin.
Should I let him go or no?
We all know Joey Logano. I know the answer.
Yeah, that card's getting wider and wider for the 11.
He runs his own race.
When you're in clean air, you can catch the 34.
Well, it doesn't. On top of that, Logano doesn't want somebody else to win a race that's in the playoffs.
Well, you heard he can catch the 34, which is a point for Joey Logano. So Joey Logano's running his race saying the 34 is up here about a straightaway up. That's a point for me. I'm trying to race my own playoffs here.
Denny's going to push the issue here, though. Let's get right down here on the inside. This 22 car, he's going to clear. I think Joey let him have it there.
I agree, Junior. I think Joey said, I know there's a point up there, but maybe these roles are going to be switched, and I want somebody to work with me, so I'm going to let Denny Hamlin go here. He worked to my inside.
Less than 10 laps to go. The gap is still 2 seconds between first and second.
That is one thing that has been maintained throughout all of these lap times. Because of lap traffic and everything else, and Bubba Wallace doing a nice job, that 2-second lead has been pretty steady. Denny's going to have to really find some speed here if he's going to get this done.
Right in front of Bubba is the 6 of Brad Keselowski. Brad's been running the top, he's been running the bottom. Right now, right in front, right in the same line that Bubba's trying to run. That's costing Bubba just a little bit of throttle here in turn 2.
And Brad's already a lap down, so this wouldn't be just to go a lap down. This would be to go 2 laps down.
Brad's running the bottom of 3 and 4 here like he has been the last few laps, giving a lot of clean air to that 45. But in 1 and 2, he runs the same line as the leader.
Bubba did not get off turn 4 well there at all. He had an issue. That lead was 2 seconds. It is down to 1.7 now. Some sort of a problem off turn 4.
Kim.
And some leaders want to know where that second place driver is. Some leaders don't. Take a listen to Bubba Wallace's radio.
Simple. I'm just cruising. I don't need updates. Okay. I'll leave you be. Freddie, you got it.
And they have been true to their word. It has been silent on the 45 radio, just letting their driver focus these last laps.
We heard Booty say, Freddie, you got it. Freddie's his spotter. Freddie Kraft, as now the gap is 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, I think the air off of that 6 car in front of him is just bothering the leader just a little bit. Bubba just doesn't have the ability and the grip and the confidence in the car, but definitely taking a very conservative approach these last few laps to stay out of trouble.
Well, Denny Hamlin might own this 45 car, but knowing Denny and the competitor, he's going to do all he can do to pass the driver he employs. He wants to assure himself a spot in the next round of the playoffs.
Lead down to 1.5 seconds.
6 laps to go. Steve, you mentioned it. An interesting chemistry here in the sense that the owner of the car in front of him, Denny Hamlin, owns the 45, co-owner with Michael Jordan of 2311 Racing. So Denny Hamlin running second. His own car is running in front of him, leading this race, looking for a win.
Down the front straightaway, coming to 5 laps to go. Denny closes the gap again to 1.3.
Can he get to the back bumper? And if he does, can he get by him? That's the big question now for Hamlin. Get a reminder, NASCAR America post-race show immediately following the checkered flag here in Kansas.
That was a big corner right there in 1 and 2 for Denny Hamlin. I feel like he cut a big chunk out of this lead.
Not only is the 6 car Brad Keselowski now causing some difficulties for the leader, they're catching McDowell as well, another pretty quick race car. So there'll be 2 cars in front of the leader, slowing him down somewhat as the lead is now down to 1.33.
Less than 6 miles remain in this race here in Kansas.
I think Bubba right here has got to get by the 6. 6 is going to give him the top. He's done this every line in 3 and 4 every time. The 45 is going to have a run. Will it be enough, or will he get stuck side by side with the 6?
Just can't make the speed.
Free to go.
Just can't make the speed around that corner to get around that 6 car. And the 6 runs the line he runs here in 1 and 2. So definitely not going to be able to pass him down there. Denny has changed his line now, running a little bit lower in 1 and 2.
Less than 1.1 seconds.
He's going to lose a little bit of time down this back straightaway though, Rick, running that lower line.
That did not work well for Denny. I think Denny felt like he had to try something different. He wasn't going to get there if he didn't.
Guys, he's radioing his car has gone loose. The 11 is loose.
There you have it. He's had to change lanes because of the way his car is driving.
2 laps to go for Bubba.
Bubba stretched the lead out a little bit right there. So Bubba can sit right here, I think, and just remain calm.
Down the back stretch again. Bubba Wallace still fighting to get by the 6 of Keselowski, so he doesn't have that car to deal with. The gap, though, between he and second, 1.3 seconds. Bubba Wallace coming up on the white flag. 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank. A win a year ago made history for Bubba Wallace. And now, this car with Kurt Busch behind the wheel won earlier this year here at Kansas. Bubba Wallace looking for his 2nd career win in the Cup Series. His final time through 3 and 4. He's going to do it. Bubba Wallace wins at Kansas.
Surprise of Bubba Wallace. Freddie, what they gonna say now, baby? Let's go! You know Hugh? Hugh down right now!
Team owner Denny Hamlin goes by to congratulate, and Bubba Wallace becomes the 18th different winner in 2022.
Way to go, man. Way to go, man. Yeah, baby!
So frustrated with himself after Michigan, knowing that he had a great car but wasn't able to capitalize and finish out, getting that checkered flag there. But today, he leads 58 laps in this race and dominant at the end. Bubba Wallace gets his 2nd career win. Checkered flag moment brought to you by Advance Auto Parts.
Got my baby here too. Hell yeah, this is awesome. Thank you, guys.
Normally an emotional Bubba Wallace. We'll see how he is when he climbs out of the car here. Driving the 45 because 2311 had that car in the playoffs for the Owners' Championship, and now they know that they're advancing to the next round. But still, all of the drivers, the 16 drivers that are fighting for a title, they're still fighting based on points. But look at the celebration. Bubba Wallace putting the finger in front of his mouth. Nobody's going to be quiet about this, Bubba. Dave.
Yeah, is right. Bubba Wallace, hard to victory lane, held them off, fast all day. What does this mean to you?
Man, just so proud of this team. So proud of the effort that they put in each and every week. Just thankful for the opportunity, right? I took this jump from an idea 2 years ago from a text from Denny. You know, before it all even happened, he was ready to get the deal done, and appreciate him, appreciate MJ, Curtis, Gene, everybody on that side of things, everybody at 2311, men and women there, they worked their tails off, and just so proud. Pit crew was awesome today. We had one loose wheel, and just thankful for the opportunity, and thankful to shut the hell up for a lot of people.
What does it mean to race as hard as you had to, right? The one at Talladega was a little bit different, and then to have Denny chasing you at the end.
Yeah, I knew Denny was going to be strong, and you know that's the things I look at is he wasn't that good at the beginning of the day, and he comes up and finishes P2, and that's what I want to start doing when we don't have the best days, is capitalize on moments like that. So it's cool to beat the boss, but man, we were just lights out today once we got to the lead, and it was a lot of fun.
You've been open with us in the past. You get anxious. Were you anxious all day? Were you ever anxious? Were you never anxious?
No, it's funny. I actually ran into my crew chief, old crew chief, Jerry Baxter, after the truck race, and I texted him. I said, Jerry, I think it's going to be a good weekend. And so we called our shot. Just what a really cool paint scheme as well on our Toyota Camry route. They've done a lot for me in my career in a short amount of time, and to throw honor to the people that we lost on 9/11 is incredible. To put this in victory lane is really cool.
How did you stay focused?
Been doing this for a really long time, and I haven't won a race like that in a really long time, but just knowing getting excited is going to mess you up. So it was just cool, calm, and collected, and here we are.
Okay, you shushed some of the doubters. Do you want to say anything to the fans, your fans?
Yeah, no. True fans that are out there, thank you guys. I love you. It's been a tough road. You guys are the best. And let's keep this train rolling. Thank you.
Bubba Wallace raced for it. He took it today at Kansas. Parker.
And Denny Hamlin gave it all he had there. Denny Hamlin, the driver, finishes second. Denny Hamlin, the owner, wins. What's the emotions right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good overall day. We you know, just still frustrated about the first half of the race, obviously. Just, you know, we just aren't executing all that well. But, you know, got to thank Acumatica for coming on. And if you want to improve your business, they can help you do it. So thank you for coming on for Kansas. Really happy for our 11 Toyota team. They fought hard. They really stepped up the last half. We made the car quite a bit better. Just really happy about the outcome, and really happy for that 45 team and Bubba Wallace and Booty. You know, Bubba's just really worked hard on his craft, and you know we've just given him fast race cars, and now he's showing what he's got.
You could have caught him and you tried to pass him?
Yeah, I mean, I nearly wrecked to try to catch him off of 4. I got bad loose and hit the fence, but you know I was driving as hard as I could. Nothing will ever come free when you're driving for me. If you think that I'm going to let you win, you better go get another job. So you know, proud of my team. Great for Root Insurance as well. Thank for their support. But yeah, just what a great day for overall for Toyota.
You can tell Denny Hamlin, range of emotions there, guys.
1-2-3 finish for Toyota with Wallace, Hamlin, and Bell. Really the class of the field as the final laps were winding down. Bubba Wallace, he's on his way to Ruoff Mortgage victory lane. And the celebration will continue for Bubba Wallace and the 2311 team. The 45 won both races here in Kansas, one with Kurt Busch behind the wheel, and today Bubba Wallace wins his second Cup Series race. .45 on its way to the Ruoff Mortgage victory lane, and the team ready to celebrate. Bubba finally gets that 45 there and in front of the team. Take a look at the playoff standings, how a non-playoff driver winning affects this. Well, one driver locks in Christopher Bell. That is based on points, and so Bell will be one of the 12 that will advance. Right now, Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, Chase Briscoe, as well as Kevin Harvick. They are the 4 that are below the cut line as we go to Bristol and Saturday night racing. That will end round 1. All right, drivers, what does it mean?
It's just awesome to see Bubba getting better as a race car driver and the growth of 2311. And also the second chance for Booty Barker. You know, a lot of us know his career, see what he's been able to do with this team and how they've grown all together and they're becoming a factor in the series. And we got an incredible battle around the bubble for the playoff, you know, going into Bristol, which is a very unpredictable racetrack, we expect it to be physical. Every race has been more physical than we could have imagined all year long, so I expect Bristol to be a new high in terms of physicality. The 4-car of Kevin Harvick, -35 going into Bristol, a must-win situation for that team.
Yeah, and he'll go in there swinging. You know, he's going to bring his very best. He always does in those moments, but so many tight battles going to Bristol. But Bubba Wallace, you said it, continuing to become a better race car driver, getting himself in a position where he's starting to see the front more and more often. And that's how you get that experience, to make some mistakes, to do some things you wish you would have done different, learn from them. And that's what Bubba Wallace is doing. He's made some mistakes. Earlier this year, it looked like that team was going to implode. It looked like they were in trouble. They were yelling at each other. They were upset at each other. Things weren't happening. A lot of negativity. In about a month, all that went away. And they started running better, and they got better and better and better. And this isn't the first time this year that Bubba Wallace has had a chance to win a race. They've had multiple opportunities, and that's how you get it done. You got to keep putting yourself there, and if you do long enough, you'll get your wins. Good job. You said it, 23-11, building winning race cars. That car won both races here. Bubba Wallace becoming a much better driver throughout this year, putting himself in position to win races. They just signed a long-term deal together. A lot of good things going on right now.
Learning, continuing to learn, and now in the victory lane spot, doing the interviews for the second time in his Cup Series career. The guy who finished in third, Christopher Bell, standing by with Parker.
Christopher Bell finishes third, and Chris, you ran the top 5 all day. What more did you need to maybe go up there and get the victory?
Yeah, just got off a little bit on our balance that last run, but overall a great points day, and very proud of everyone on this DeWalt number 20 team. So great day for Toyota. Happy for Bubba to get a win. He was really deserving, really fast all day. So great points day. We'll move on and try and win one.
You entered Bristol 58 points above the cut line. Your crew chief Adam Stevens told me that's the kind of day we need to maximize every point. You did that here today. How proud does that make you of this race team?
Yeah, I'm very happy that we're finally getting the results that this team deserves. You know, our speed has been there all year, and I feel like we've given up a couple good finishes. So last couple of weeks we've been building on it, and hopefully we can keep the ball rolling.
I think this makes the 20 team a bona fide championship contender this year.
They're definitely that, and they'll be fighting for a title. Bubba Wallace wins, and DJ called it. We're going to hear from the pit box after this.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.